From TMP to TTNG, for sure the cure and those tired meme jeans. Hella can sell and the promise ring. Sunny day, real estate and rites of spring. Prince Twinkle daddies help keep the dream alive. I constantly thank God for Algernon and Remo Christie front drive. Mineral, snowing, high tide hotelier and more. Rio Limo only consists of the DC emotive hardcore. But you gotta admit, Kyle and Ellie really on that emo bullshit. You gotta admit that Kyle and Ellie really on that emo bullshit. Have you heard the tired and disavowed lonely word? Have you heard the disavowed and lonely word? Have you heard the lonely disavowed word? Have you heard the tired and lonely disavowed word?
We'll do like a proper intro here. That this is episode 25 of the E-Word. It's the first of our A Decade Under the Influence series, in which we put together a poll of records from each year. We start with 2010, and the winning record of that year is Snowing with I Could Do Whatever I Wanted If I Wanted. And we have everyone from that record, from Snowing, on this podcast right now. And that's unbelievable to me. This is Kyle. I'm in Madison. Ellie, you're here as well in Austin. And yeah, we have Ross, Nate, John, and Justin split between two different coasts. So we're in all three time zones right now, or we're in three different time zones right now. But Snowing.
I mean, Mountain Time doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I don't believe
true. I don't think we've had a Mountain Time guest yet. But Snowing, thank you for being on this episode. This is wild.
Thank you for having
Where's
us.
Mountain Time?
Like Arizona.
So we're gonna be talking about the record. To kind of get into it, so we were just talking before we officially started here that there wasn't really an official date that this came out, but we determined that it was December 4th of 2010.
I believe so. That's let's call it that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And when this came out, does this mean it was literally like a free download somewhere?
Yep.
Yeah, so we put it on the website. I think it was a MediaFire link,
Yeah.
right? And I think we just had a PayPal donate button.
Right.
Which is
right.
pretty wild to think that was done.
That's very Jeff Rosenstock of y'all.
Did we do that before he did it?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Did we beat Radio? No, Radiohead did it too, I think.
Radiohead was the template in a way because they did their own website with it.
Mm.
So that's why I was like, we should do our own website. This won't crash at all. It immediately crashed. It crashed the first 3 hours. We crashed the website.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't afford great web hosting, I'm sure.
Yeah, no.
And so this comes out after the Fuck Your Emotional Bullshit EP. And I was kind of wondering, was there any hype or momentum behind that release going into this? Were people looking for the Snowing LP?
There was the hype of we put out that Fuck Your Emotional Bullshit EP, and the response was overwhelmingly, we don't like this as much as Street Smart. Yeah, I remember that being resoundingly, we don't like this as much as Street Smart. So there was, I don't know, at least for me, a huge chip on my shoulder to make it
better.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that when the record came out, it was the same thing, but
we don't like this as much as the EP.
Which seems to be a common opinion.
Yeah.
But,
what are you going to do? Welcome.
Yeah.
That I don't like this as much as Street Smart comment is literally the first thing I ever saw about Snowing.
Yeah.
That was the very first thing.
I think that's the first thing I ever said about Snowing.
I guess I understand why. It was pretty different. Not worlds apart different, but it was definitely louder and more abrasive.
I mean, there was definitely this like air of like studio seriousness. I don't know how else to put it. Going into it, like we practiced all the songs a ton, and we went in there with this like plan with Joe Reinhardt, who is recording it and let's just say producing it. And I remember this specifically, this one email he sent. I was like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right. Drums are all gonna be tuned. Guitars are all gonna be set up. We're gonna go in there with like knowledge of what amps we want to use, what sounds we want to get, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do all of that, and we did. We all talked a lot about all of that legwork, and then we did all of our parts individually. And I don't know that any three of us were in the studio at the same time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
At most, there were two of us in the studio, and we'd be listening to something someone else did and going, they did what?
Yeah, I think now we can say like we'd be in the recording and you'd listen to something back and you'd be like, what the fuck?
You're like,
That's the part he plays?
like that's how it sounds? Oh my god.
Huh. Okay.
Well, all right, I guess it makes sense if that's what he's doing.
Just go with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But like
We did demo everything though on an iPhone 3G.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you think the record sounds like it was recorded with no one in the room at the same time?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
We're getting to this fast.
So when we were recording it around the same time, our friends in 1994 were also recording with Joe, or had done some recording with Joe, and their recording sounded huge and like really powerful, and there were only two of them. So I was like, our recording is going to sound way bigger and way more powerful, and it just
Because there's four of
because
us.
there's four.
It's math.
That's
that's
just
just basic math,
that's day one.
and it did.
What were they recording? What was the 1994 recording?
Fuck your head, I believe.
No, they did that in Europe on the iPhone.
No,
No,
That's fuck it.
That's fuck it, right?
Fuck it. They did in Europe. I think
They did.
fuck your head was at.
I thought it was Most Def.
it might have been
Def.
most deaf.
I didn't know they did anything with Joe. That's cool.
Yeah.
I should listen to that.
My roommate Chris Dean, who was 1994, was home.
fuck is he?
I don't know.
Fuck it. But yeah, I mean, also we tracked it, and tracking it was a very bizarre experience.
Yeah. We should
I also played to a click, and I never played to a click, nor was at the time was I
That was
good at playing to a click.
that was in the email as well. That we were like, we're gonna have you play to a click, and everyone was like, yeah, if this is what you're telling us makes a good record, we'll do it.
Yeah.
The drums sound like somebody playing to the click for the first time on an actual recording. Say that.
I don't know when to bring this up, so I'll just bring it up now because we're talking about all this stuff about the actual record. At some point while we were mixing, all the vocals got moved, like about like 4 or 5 seconds, like in the wrong direction.
Oh no!
Joe would like play me a part and be like, "Is this right? Is this on? This sounds on," and it would be like a millimeter off in one direction, or like a millisecond off in one direction, and I just couldn't. I'd be like, "Dude, I don't know. I can't." There's still some vocals when they come in. I'm like, "That's not right," because somehow the entire record got fucked up.
Also, fun fact: mixed, and I don't know if it was mastered, but
It got
certainly mixed entirely on iPod headphones. Mixed entirely on iPod headphones.
So at the time, Joe had recorded all the Algernon records, and they all sounded incredible.
Yeah.
So we were like, "This is going to be a slam dunk," and we were like really good friends with everyone in Algernon. So it was like, "This is going to be so much fun. We're going to have a great time. Record's going to sound super sick." And I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying
Sounds best on iPod headphones. If you really want the full experience, you get the 180 gram vinyl. you hook it up to your tube receiver, and you pop off into that.
Specifically iPhone headphones from 2010.
Yeah, none of these ear pods.
Yeah.
Not that 2019 advanced shit.
No.
Basically, probably like from 2009, because no one was getting it.
It's not like it was 2010 and Joe was like, "Oh, I better get the new headphones."
Was,
my God.
was like Joe cutting you like a deal at that point too, or was it?
We got a homie discount.
Yeah, because I feel like 2 years later, Joe was more of a name. Like he did like a Joyce Manor record like a few years later and stuff, and the rest is history and shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll never record with him again just because of that.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe he'll give you the bro discount.
Yeah, give me the bro discount.
I know.
I'll give him Toshiba headphones this time.
I remember we had to buy him a case of nice beer. That was part of it.
I don't remember that. Must have not been there.
I think the other part of it was like, I'll do it cheap, but like we kind of have to fit it in where we can time wise.
Oh, it was
So there
definitely
was
scattered.
There was a lot of I think that's part of the reason why we couldn't really be together, because it was kind of like I can come down after work from 8 till 11:30.
Oh yeah.
And then
There's
like
a lot of that.
you can come in from then until 2.
There was a lot of like, can I come in and do like 3 guitar parts in an hour? Like
I recorded drums after Sunday brunch. I remember that.
JR was already in that phase of his life.
True.
We were lagging behind. I'm pro brunch now, I think.
I got shit for
Post-brunch, actually.
having brunch before I recorded at the time. I remember that.
I mean,
Love that.
I think we just made fun of you because none of us could afford to have brunch, like in the way you're speaking.
Wait, where'd you get?
Yeah, where'd you get brunch?
Probably the Abbey.
Oh, okay.
I got brunch at the Abbey all the time.
and then I start working there, and suddenly I don't see neither hide nor tail.
Because I live in California.
Yeah. Well, we all have excuses.
So the record comes out on Count Your Lucky Stars and Square of Opposition. Why does it come out on 2 different labels at that time? Was it both people fronting money for vinyl?
Yeah, I think so.
Chris would have yelled at us if we wouldn't have put it out with him. So.
Yeah.
Maybe reject.
Yeah.
We
We met Keith on a tour, and he really wanted to like do the LP. And when we ran it by Chris, he was like, "Oh yeah, great! Like we'll all do it." And it just made a lot of sense. The way that emo has like took off, where it's like for some labels now it's like a viable business, or it was for a while like a viable business. It hadn't happened yet, so like it's still very. I think this gets lost a lot. It's like when we were a band, like things were still very DIY. So it was just like we had 2 friends that ran record labels that wanted to help us put out a record. It just was like, yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Mhm.
More people on the team, like, of course, that was it. There was no we didn't have contracts.
And I think at the time it was nice to just not have to pay for it. Like that felt.
That was it. Yeah.
Like
we actually, we paid for the recording,
yeah.
but to pay for getting like vinyl press, that's a lot of money.
And I mean, Chris had been putting out records for years, so he had relationships with his pressing plant. And
Yeah.
He could get stuff quickly. Like it takes so long to get a record made now.
Yep.
We had been talking about that a lot because we have a record coming out in another band, and it's like, hey, if this gets pressed, it'll be a year till this comes out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Back then, I don't know. It might have taken 3 months.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
Pressing itself would take 3 months.
Now it takes like 9.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Lady
Lady
Gaga?
Gaga.
Are you familiar with her wait times for pressing?
Yeah. All the big popular vinyl's cool, so like Lady Gaga gets vinyl made, and that's why everything takes forever now.
Oh yeah. Like
Okay.
basic record store day has fucked
Yeah.
up getting records
Yeah.
for anyone.
Right.
Has anyone seen A Star Is Born? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was great.
I can hold on, let me do my best.
That sounds like the intro of
I saw the
a
trailer.
50s sci-fi movie.
I saw the trailer once, and I'm pretty sure that's about it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, she's halfway to an EGOT, though.
She
so
just
she probably
had
has some
her-
respect.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to. She just caterwauls in a gas station somewhere. That's what happens. Anyway, scratch that.
It was a good movie.
That was a good bit. Cool. We'll edit it out though.
Okay, so the record comes out.
No usable material.
5-minute podcast.
What is the response when the record comes out?
Good.
I think people liked it at the time. We kind of already talked about it. A lot of people were like, yeah, the EP was better.
Where are people talking about it? Because I think Elle and I looked for reviews and stuff, and I personally could only find punknews.org's.
Yeah, I remember the only place I saw people talking about it was like Absolute Punk forums and the Last FM, like Twinkle Daddy group.
Last FM page.
Last FM was
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Last FM was like honestly the way that like people used it. It's pretty much how like Reddit is used now.
Mhm.
Like, it's
Yeah, we were talking about that too. It's like really, and Kyle also, you mentioned that like that was where shows, like the show events happened too. Like
Yep.
that's definitely like something that's kind of lost now. I think Last FM is definitely more of like a tool than a social media platform.
Right. Well, I don't think it was ever really set up to be like a great social media platform. I just think it was what people had available.
Right. And it was cool because it kind of organically became that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when things use what they're intended to be used for, especially on the internet, those are the things that tend to blow up. I mean, the music tracking was cool. That's still fucking cool.
Yeah.
I wish I still used it. Like, I actually like logged into it for the first time in a while because I wanted to go back and like kind of look at what I was listening to around then. And I was like, dude, this was cool. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like posting my top 10 on Facebook for the
Right.
week.
Oh yeah, that was always the thing.
Oh, I listened to Hot Snakes 40 times this week.
I was
Cool.
always wildly embarrassed by my scrabbles.
Yeah. Oh, it's
So-
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The made up words.
Like I get to the end of the week and it was just like it was like that one week where I listened to like the same Cake song 40 times. And I'm like, well, this isn't something I want anyone to know about.
Which Cake song was it?
Dude, there's too many. I couldn't tell you. Actually, I have a playlist on Spotify right now for my friend Tyler that's just called "Come On Ty, Cake's Great." I'm just adding songs to it because I'm a cake apologist.
She'd Go to Heaven is the jam though.
They're kind of like
I watched a video of a dog catching an 83-yard frisbee
hell yeah.
to he's going the distance,
That's good.
and he catches it right after that. Dun, 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 dun. He's going the catches the frisbee, and that was really good.
I 100% know
I
90% of those lyrics.
If you have show notes, can you put that link in there?
I personally can't remember too much of what the online criticisms of the record were, both because I smoke a lot of weed and also because I think I was actively avoiding all that just because I knew it wasn't going to be what I wanted to read or see, and also because, to be honest, the band wasn't like interpersonally doing that great at the time. So any kind of reminder of that was just disheartening.
It was the perfect time to go on a 6-week tour.
It was. It really was.
Well, no, I mean this was before. This would have been before the winter tour.
Yeah, there was a pretty long stretch because there was a whole.
I mean, Juice, you were already out.
Yeah, that was beginning of August.
Yeah. So
Was that on the tour with? Yeah, it was the tour with Evan.
yeah,
Yeah, you played like half of the tour, right?
Yes.
he played until Baltimore.
And then Bean played the
And
rest.
then Bean played the rest, which was always the plan. The plan wasn't that we were going to split ways, but it just sort of happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, the record didn't come out for another couple months because we weren't done. Like the record took so fucking long to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took an eternity. When did we even start recording it? I don't even remember that.
Recording it in the spring of 2009.
I'm currently scrabbling back through the Snowing Facebook to find posts about it.
I
I
want to.
looked through my pictures and I have I recorded something at the warehouse in January, but I think that was like way too early that year.
I want to say we started actually tracking the record in the late winter, early spring of 2009, and it was
Oh, holy shit.
like really done around the late summer, early fall, or maybe it was even done by late summer of 2000. But yeah, for us to have a release date of, or to have put it up December 3rd, 2010, that I think is the most realistic timeline.
So with the discussion of Scrabbles, and just like what people were listening to at the time, I have always been like really curious about blah 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 quote unquote revival, like what those early revival bands were listening to, because I feel like a lot of it gets written off as like Captain Jazz worship, like everyone was just trying to copy Captain Jazz, but I hear like a lot of different stuff happening, and I just want to know what were the specific influences.
No one in this band really listened to emo.
Let me just say, I honestly think all of us being against Snowing and whoever else you choose, I think we were all listening to a lot of each other.
Mm.
Yeah, like Algernon was my favorite emo.
Oh yeah, I listen to some kind of Cadwalder all the time.
I think there was I don't know, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I think it's true. Like, there was a big competition to be, unspoken competition to be like the best one. And, you know, even though Algernon was like far and away the best one,
Yeah.
a lot of the bands, I think, were just sort of unspokenly ambitious to be good and just write good songs and like have good shit, and that emo was kind of incidental, I want to say.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose playing emo. Just kind of happened. It's real strange. Like,
Oh, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, I guess I'll just talk about my relationship to emo. Here we go.
Say something we've always wanted.
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I probably started listening to it. Braid, Promise Ring. And it was weird at the time to be listening to that because it was over, like,
Right.
that for years. So I graduated in 2004. When did Frame and Canvas come out? 2000? Everything I listened to came out in like 99, 2000. At the Drive-In, Braid, Promise Ring.
I will say too, pretty much from like 8th grade, I listened to whatever Ross told me to listen to, or like pretty much up until this point.
JR's. First of all, JR and I have known each other since we were 5 years old. So we like legitimately. Literally.
Don't scratch that, keep that.
Yeah, keep that. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, I don't know. By the time we were in the band, I wasn't listening to a lot of emo. I was already like boring indie rock man.
No, you were though.
Yeah, we all were,
I
dude.
think I was.
We
Yeah,
all
you
were,
were.
dude. We all were, dude.
I guess so.
We were all listening to each other's bands, our friends' bands. Friends were like bands we were playing shows with. We wanted to know, like, oh, is this band good and not good? Are we gonna be with like?
Screamo was still.
Screamo was the thing.
Oh yeah.
Were y'all into Screamo?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
No.
Definitely.
John
No.
Hard no. John Hard no. Me Hard yes.
yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
because
hard yes.
I also noticed that like the pre-snowing bands, or like the bands that kind of preceded y'all in the scene, like Make Me or Boy Problems, you know, they were definitely like kind of.
Jeez, did proceed snowing?
I mean, I know the
Definitely
tour
preceded
demo.
Snow.
The tour demo came out in 2007.
Yeah, Boy Problems was like,
Wow.
I guess while you guys were doing Street Smart, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a
I
tail.
mean, all that stuff was like more screamy and a little bit more hardcore influence, and then Snowing was abrasive but not as twinkly. Or yeah.
Here's the thing. I did want to say this just because I need to get this on the record somewhere.
Mhm.
The emo revival, quote unquote. People credit it to different things. All the credit should go to Dave and John Geeding.
yeah.
Because they are two insane brothers who got so deep into the whole of like J-Tree emo and also just like screamo, because they're both insane, obsessive, compulsive weirdos. They're good people who I like very much. But like they started Cyclist because they loved emo so much, and Ross and I ended up joining, and then we ended up getting Nate in the band.
It was really on a whim too. Originally, it was like
super on a
it
whim.
was like, hey, we're all home for the summer. Let's
Right.
start like a summer fun band.
But then when we did our first tour, which was the only tour I did with the band, we played shows, and there were literally no other emo bands. We played strictly with screamo bands, and we were like the odd band out on every show, and it was super weird. It felt really uncomfortable. I felt like we were like aliens in a weird way, because like we'd get up and we'd play like our songs where they'd play twinkly guitars and I would sing, and like every band after us would get up and do the da 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 da.
Yes.
Who'd y'all play with back then?
I don't remember Street Smart. Like
The most
Line of the North.
Line of the North was sick, but the most
Oh hell yeah, Harrison.
memorable show from that first Street Smart tour was with Kid Crash.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
China. And we'd met them for the first time. There was nobody there. It was some insane abandoned, like it was half barn, half warehouse. And we played there, and it was just a fucking sick place to be. Like seeing Kid Crash back in like 2007 is a very, like, to me, a very special thing. I took mushrooms and listened to that record not like 3 months ago.
Jokes
and
That's right around Jokes, yeah.
Right around Jokes, yeah.
So
and
like, peace, Kid Crash.
But also, no one was there.
no. And the next time we played that same spot, maybe 9 months later, Street Smart went back. John had left the band. We had a different singer, and we went back to that same venue and we played, and the place was packed, and it was all.
And then all of our equipment got stolen that
And
night.
all our shit got stolen. So, but that's neither here nor there. That's not about anything.
I didn't know you guys started it again. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun, I think. I don't really remember.
You guys remember the Brooklyn Cat House show?
Yes. Which one?
Which one? That was John's house.
The one where I did.
Boy Problems, and I think Street Smart played. I don't know if John was playing. I think Cody was singing at the time.
Well, there was the one Brooklyn Cat House show where Nate couldn't make it, so I ended up playing bass in the band that I quit while Cody sang, but Cody never actually learned the lyrics.
Never really sing. Don't really know what he sounded like.
So
Anyway, we're talking about a different band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Street Smart broke up, and
If we're talking about records, that band didn't even record a record's worth of songs, so we don't get to do a podcast.
Did we want to jump into the track list, Kyle?
For sure.
Just
Yeah.
song by song? Word.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's start off with I think we're in Minsk. Minsk. I don't know how to pronounce it actually.
it's Minsk.
Minsk. Okay.
Or no, it's a city.
But they all have funny titles. Maybe we could talk about them.
No. No.
I just want to talk about that one. It's a misquoted Black Books quote.
That's okay. I don't want to talk about it at all. At least we'll talk about the song. I don't care about any of the titles.
Yeah, I'm glad that's over. Unrelated titles and long titles.
Me too. What do you want to ask about the song?
I mean that trend's back, by the way, but like big time. Yeah. What? So, I guess first of all, why was this your choice to start off the record?
It's a pretty cold open. Just like you just hear some room mics. Really not much at all, and then the super harsh guitar tone comes in. That and
That is a gnarly guitar tone.
It's incredibly abrasive. The way like very staccato. Just really like cuts you into it, and then I don't know.
I think that was the first one we wrote for the record.
Well,
That was on the tape.
We pre-recorded it for that
No,
tape.
first one we wrote for the record was "Why Am I Not Going Underwater." We had written that right after.
Oh, you're right.
We wrote that right after the 7-inch.
'Cause we
But
recorded-
going back to Minsk, why we chose that one? I think it's the obvious front runner to start off the record.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember like once we wrote it, I was like, well, that's it. In my head, I was like, that. What else? How else did you start something? You don't. This is it.
And that song kind of also like encapsulates a bunch of cool parts of the record just in one song.
Yeah.
Like it's got the noodly stuff, it's got the super abrasive stuff, it's got JR's crazy rolling drum parts. It's got like me and Ross going all over the place, John screaming and singing on it. Like it's a great introductory song for every other song that comes after it.
It's like a thesis statement for the record.
Sure.
For sure.
Is that what you guys were opening up all the shows with too? Because I feel like that's what all I've seen in like the full sets on YouTube and shit was.
Yeah. We did do that a lot.
I have no answer. I can't remember what we opened up shows with. I was usually drunk or high. Some combination of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to get in the mood.
So was I. But also, yeah, I think that became the pretty predominant opener as we did it. I actually there on the emo subreddit, there was just a post with a show that we did in Santa Monica.
And Minsk is not the first song on that. I listened to it yesterday.
Oh, it's not.
No,
Oh,
it's
Big
not.
Weed is.
No, Underwater is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, well, never mind.
Well, that was on tour. It was halfway through. We were probably sick of playing the sets.
Right.
And we were mixing things up.
Right. That is true. But yeah, no, I think that was generally the vibe. I do remember the practice where we wrote it, and I remember like Nate came in with most like that is a Nate song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he came in with all the riffs, and they were all. I was just like floored by it. And we were writing the song, and I was so excited. And you were so sick.
Like ill?
Yeah, you were like actually like really sick. And on the ride back to Philly, because we practiced at your mom's house. And on the ride back to Philly.
Oh, is that where I threw up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were actually sick.
It was like I had a fever and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nate had this like crazy fever, and we were just like pounding away on the song. And
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like, this is really cool. But then the hypochondriac part in my head was like,
I'm gonna
I
get.
need to get out of this room.
Hell yeah. That is. I completely forgot about that part.
Oh yeah, you were sick as hell.
Yeah.
But also you were sick as hell.
Yeah. Tight.
Track 2, Mark Z. Danielewski. I have two things about this. One is that I feel like this song, more than any other, has inspired like so many people to pretend that they have read House of Leaves.
Cool.
And
Has everyone
two,
heard that?
Oh fuck no.
even more than the Fall of Troy. Like, two. This is one of two Snowing songs on this record that I think kind of sounds pop punk. Like it has like kind of a pop punk part.
Mhm.
I always thought this one sounded like it could be on Barry Emergency, like the Promise Ring.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
yeah, emo poppy.
The song was originally called 127 Pounds of Weed
Yeah.
because John Weed weighed 127 pounds. And I was sad that we didn't keep that name because that was a great name.
Weed wasn't the acceptable thing that it is now in 2019, back in 2010.
It wasn't.
No,
Nate just-
it wasn't even legal yet anywhere.
It's not really. Never mind.
Well, JR lives in California.
I do not think that's why we changed the name of the song though.
This is too controversial.
we should change it. We might get arrested.
Yeah. Pound. We're gonna switch to the metrics.
We didn't play that song like a lot.
No, because it was too hard for me to play.
It hurt my hands.
It was that song that has that solo in it that even when we did those reunion shows, I just kind of said fuck it and went with whatever. But to this day, I can't replay whatever solo is.
The end.
No, that I can replay.
So my part that is over your part is my least favorite guitar part I wrote in that band.
All
I
right.
fucking hate it.
Damn.
Fucking hate it so much.
Yeah. No, there's a.
Wait, your part at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
It's bad.
Yeah. There's a, I remember that tuning. It's very easy. That pop punk sentiment that you just talked about. The tuning that I was using at the time is there's one chord shape where it's really easy to get this cool power chord with like this other octave note in there that just sounds huge.
You could slide it around the whole neck.
Yeah, and you really it doesn't like you just have to go to the root note, and as long as it's in that shape, it's gonna sound huge. And I think that's maybe the only song on the record where we really utilize that too much because it does like use that sound too much. It's gonna sound a little corny.
I love that song.
I like that song. I didn't like the guitar part, by the way.
Right. I remember when we were writing it, I just remember feeling like this was the first time. Well, not the first time, but like I felt like we were entering something different. We were doing something that we hadn't done yet, and I remember being really excited about it. I felt like we were writing like it just felt different. It felt like we were like progressing as a band. Not because it was like a better song, but just because it was like a different song. We were like trying different things together. And I just remember being really like, that was kind of like a cool thing about the record in general, is that feel like we all had played in emo bands prior, which is a true fact.
Pardon me.
Emo bands are like so short-lived, and a lot of times it's like, here's 4 riffs, we're just gonna play them all in a row, and then that's the song. I feel like Snowing at that point was getting to the point where we were like an actual band that had written more than 6 songs. So
First
we were
chorus,
like,
first chorus.
yeah, so we were like actually like learning to write together and play together, and it was really it was just a really interesting time. That was like one of the first songs that we wrote like in earnest toward the record, and I remember being really excited by that.
I will say that that riff at the end, I still play it all the time just to warm up. That riff at the end, favorite riff I ever warmed up with. Great,
Good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, on that note, I warm up with Minsk all the time. That's my favorite drum warm up.
We should
The
repackage
playability, like some of my musicianship in like during this record it's the best it's ever been.
Yeah, I've gotten much lazier.
Yeah, dude, I cannot play guitar like I did when we were recording that record. I just can't.
Oh yeah.
I would have to practice for like 2 hours a day because at the time all I had to do was go to school, smoke weed, and play guitar. And now I have to feel sorry for myself, worry about the future, smoke weed, and go to work.
When we played those reunion shows and I had to relearn the songs, I had a moment where I was like, oh no, like I don't know if I can physically do this anymore.
People ask me if I can finger tap, and I'm like, no, I've never been able to. I don't put my fingernails enough to finger tap. What's the third song?
Malk It.
Malk It.
Yeah,
Which is a brand of substitute milk now.
it's real.
Yeah, Malk is an actual milk substitute now.
As the Simpsons.
This is a Simpsons Nirvana reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double reference.
Yeah.
Milk It was a Nirvana song, and Malk is
Yep.
a Simpsons joke.
Yep.
And
The only song on the record in standard tuning.
One of 2 in the entire band.
on the record,
Yeah.
only one in standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I remember when did you is that a you riff?
That's a Nate song.
It's the
I just remember being like, you were like, yeah, it's in standard. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because even when you play in standard, it doesn't sound like normal guitar. Like when I pick up a guitar and I play in standard, it's like G, C.
That's B minor.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Right.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That's one of my favorites in the whole band.
Yeah, I love that.
That was
song.
my favorite to play for
Song's
sure.
great.
I love that song. That sounds super fun to play.
That's one like if like I need to play that band for like a normal person I know.
Oh,
Like that's like the one. But you might get this one a little bit.
That one's
There's
for
like
the normies.
You think this is the most accessible song on the record?
It's up there. Probably that or Mark, right? I'd say
Damn, seriously, it's the most accessible song.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Damn Feathers for sure. It's got
I think
that.
Damn Feathers,
Yeah.
in terms of, like pop accessibility, is the most accessible one.
oh come on.
you bring something now.
No, I love it. Oh, man, Joe walked me through so much cool shit at the end where it gets all like crazy and noisy. He was like, just play some wild solo and I will track it backwards. So we like tracked it to tape and then he tracked that into the machine or the computer backwards. Yeah, Joe had like a big hand in making that song super cool.
See, I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's-
weren't knowing was that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about Damn Feathers or Malk It right now?
I was like trying to do all these weird like dissonant solo notes at the end, and he was like, it might be cool if you have this like fluid kind of warbly thing. Let's try and make that happen.
I will say, if there's one thing about Snowing that I will always treasure, it's that we were always really good at ending a song.
Yeah.
And the end of that song is
Very nice.
it's very good.
It sounds like sad, but it's like it's okay, sad.
Yeah.
I think it's all right. Okay.
Melancholia. Yeah.
Like the end of when it's the last firework. You're like, oh,
That
It's
was
all-
really nice, but
That's also like
Yeah.
the one song on the record that it may not. I don't know if it seems like it or not, but like I really struggled to write the vocals on this record. Is that Lee?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I really struggled to write the vocals on the record, and I hadn't kind of figured out how to. I'm much better now at like figuring out melodies and things like that. But like at the time, I didn't really have a system for it. And that one, I remember like singing a melody to a scratch recording with some like fake lyrics, and those basically became the song. Like the song really didn't change much, and it's kind of the only one that's sort of about nothing, but it's not. But it totally kind of also is, but it's also not.
I think the song has like this melodic loneliness that your lyrics kind of complement. Like the song's like
agree,
it's a loner song.
Once I pulled back from just thinking like this one's not so specific about my entire life like every other one was.
It's more generalized.
But once I like pulled back from that and just looked at it generally, I was like, oh, this is also about me.
yeah, man, for sure.
That's what happens with lyrics, though. I don't know, like that Jeff Tweedy book that you also read. He would just sing syllables, and then just words. He would be like, "Oh, well, that time I listened to it, and I heard this phrase,"
Right.
and that's
Well, Kurt Cobain did that too.
Yeah.
Well, I do it more now. Like I'm a much better I feel like I'm much better at songwriting now. There's a thing. I'll say it now so you can edit it in at the point that it makes the most sense. Writing lyrics or writing vocals in an emo band where there are already two guitars playing two separate lead melodies, and then having to sing a lead melody on top of that is really, really difficult. And it took me I had so many scraps of paper and so many like notebooks full of just scribbled out, like I'd sit there and I'd listen to a song on this record and I would write a line and I would write like a full thing, and I'd go back through the song and I'd like listen to it and I'd try and sing the words that I just wrote, and I'd be like, nope, doesn't fit. And I'd like, by the end of it, there was like no space on the page with all the crossouts.
I have a great anecdote about what you just said, but I'm going to wait. It pertains to a specific song. I'm going to wait till we get to that song. I'm not going to say what song.
Sick. That's great.
I think to add on to that, like when we wrote songs, we had like zero regard for you. In retrospect,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like we were trying to be like dicks about it, but
No,
like Nate and I were just like, let's just like Fugazi this shit. We're both the lead guitar player.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but also, I mean, we built off of Street Smart, where like John and Dave really had no regard for what I was doing, to the point where like John would have like in his head a vocal part, and you can hear it on like the last two songs we recorded, Kiss Kitty and Be Like Science, where he just went in, like I recorded my vocals, and then he went in and recorded his own vocals.
That was wild. That was insane. Anyway, but that was Malkit, I think.
yeah, good one. Good one.
Often's a good one.
All right. Number 4 is a big one. Why Am I Not Going Underwater?
Yeah.
This is like one of the flagship Snowing songs, I think, for sure.
Which is a shame, because I think like for some reason for some reason I feel like the recording fidelity dips like during this song. Like I feel like
No, I totally hear it.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
it's a bummer. It's always bummed me out, because this is this song and Pump Fake have always been my favorite two Snowing songs. So like unquestionably, I love this song so much.
Pump Fake, the only song to ever be a B-side twice.
Yeah, dude.
B-side twice.
Yeah, man.
You guys talk about it.
John and I were talking about this the other night after band practice. Like JR's drum part in like that first verse is so like out of left field, and that's probably like the best part of it, I think.
Yo, that.
Yeah, it's like a weird.
It's like a world.
It's like
a world pop.
It's
emo
like some
song.
Vampire
So, like-
Weekend.
No, but it's sick. And at the time, it was alien. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't know how else to like. I was the one who wrote that like that, like
Yeah, it had the little kick.
main
It
riff.
swung a little.
And I didn't know how to explain that swing to JR, and he went with it, and he came up with something great. And he like another thing I love about the song is that every time that part comes up, JR's drum part is slightly different. The first time, it's really like it's got that swing. It's like,
And then it straightens out in the second verse.
it's but only a little bit, only a little bit. And then by the time it gets to the end of that song, it's that huge, very anthemy part. JR's just going straight. It's sick. That's a really cool one. That was the first one we wrote for this record. That was the first song we wrote after Fuck Your Emotional Bullshit.
I guess instead of us talking about JR's drums, I kind of want to hear him talk about that drum part because I never got to ask him about it really.
I don't remember anything about writing this song, but I kind of remember feeling uncomfortable about this song. Like I don't know, it didn't feel right for some reason.
That was probably good though, getting out of a comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly something.
Yeah, like
that's part of what makes it a standout track to a lot of people, I think. You know?
Yeah, I don't really remember hearing. I mean, I stopped keeping up with him a few years ago for the most part, but like I've never heard a song like that. Really, it's kind of the only one. That's cool. I love playing that song too.
I feel like this is like a snowing anthem of sorts.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got some
song
all the time.
Song name is Arrested Development themed or inspired.
It is, yeah, that is true.
Which you also referenced in a lyric earlier in the record, I think.
In Marcy Danielewski.
Yeah.
Tobias UK, Why Am I Not Underwater?
Yeah.
In that song. And then, but that was, we already named this song, so I was like self-referential
to a song that hadn't happened.
Well, in the record. I liked doing that back then. It was fun. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you ever look up annotated lyrics of your own? Because like this entire song is annotated on Genius.
Yeah.
Weird. You didn't see that. This kind of went around on Twitter recently. I don't know if you saw it. Someone on Twitter realized that I at one point had gone on Genius and I like looked up all the snowing quotes, and whenever someone posted something dumb, I just posted no.
What is Genius?
It's like
He worked with Jizza a lot.
It's a lyric website.
It's a lyric website where people take.
Lyric Genius?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like people will analyze meanings of lines and such.
Okay. All right, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think that like a large part of the reason this one is like such an anthem is because the lyrics seem like even more personal than the rest of the record. Did you have like any personal stories about the lyrics on there?
No, I think so. I had a goal in Snowing that was to write super personal lyrics, which sounds weird saying it now. I don't know. I really like the idea at the time of being almost like overly sherry. And I remember when we started doing like our first shows, showing how uncomfortable it made me, like knowing we were playing like shitty places with bad PAs, mostly JR's old apartment. You know, we'd have a show and we'd be getting ready, and I would get so like unconsolably drunk because I was so afraid of what I was saying in the songs. Like, it made me really uncomfortable to sing songs like Sam Rudich because I was singing about my dad, and it made me really uncomfortable to sing like Spectre Magic because it's like very to the bone of how I felt, just emotionally. And so anyway, this song is one of those songs. This song is like it hit too close. Like it took me a really long time to write it, and I remember sitting in the movie theater. I used to work at a movie theater. I was a projectionist. Chris Reject was my boss.
That was a concession.
Oh shit!
He was a projectionist, not at the same time.
That's on the Wikipedia page. I just saw it yesterday. So.
Oh, that's great. This song took me a really long time to write, and I wrote actually like 2 full sets of lyrics for it with like different melodies, and it really didn't click until I finally like like I had the Chris Reject line already, and but that's just that one part, and then the song didn't click until it was like I was just sitting in the booth, and it was just like, like sometimes I get drunk at night, and it was just like, oh fuck, because it was sort of just like admitting that like I drink a fair amount, which was uncomfortable to even talk about for me, and still kind of is, as we sit here
Drinking beers.
Can I just say, as John's bartender, I think he's fine.
Yeah, Nate now bartends at the bar that really the only bar I like going to. So,
It's the only bar I like going to.
yeah.
I take the subway.
Is that why I
to-
see you so much?
Well, wrestling's not on every day, so
Sometimes you wanna go to the bar where Nate works.
if you start bartending Sunday nights during pay-per-views, then
That'd be sick. You should work WrestleMania.
yeah.
But anyway, so like once that hit, it was just sort of like, oh yeah, okay. Like sometimes I get drunk at night. One drink turns fast into 5. Like it all just sort of flew out then. I was like, yep, here it is. But the cool thing about that is that also immediately made it one of my favorite songs, because I was like, this is like suddenly super important to me. Like this is suddenly very real, and that made it special. I liked it before. I liked it even more then.
That's awesome. Thank you. Like that was a really awesome answer. But real quick, I also just want to shout out JR and Nate's like nonverbal communication throughout. It's been really amusing to me throughout.
Yeah, JR was slapping. He was laying some slap down. Like,
JR, is that like an Infinity Strat? What is that?
I'm like Steel D on guitar.
God.
Oh, Jude, we're supposed to start playing, according to Nick Taza, we're supposed to start playing Apex Legends together.
I have it too.
On PlayStation?
Yeah.
He doesn't like that game.
I just wanted to change the subject after I said all that emotional shit.
well, that's good though. That's good. Never mind.
I'm always down to play on PlayStation. You guys always tell me that you don't play online because you're playing
You don't want to talk to
not
people.
online games.
Anyway,
All right.
let's talk about what you guys want to talk about.
Song 5. You bring something? No. The shortest song on the record. Punchiest song on the record. It looks like y'all had a lot of fun with it.
I like this one.
I fucking love
I was
this
gonna
track.
say let's let Nate talk about it.
Yo, this is like the most ripping song.
I've got it.
Nate's parts fucking rule.
I
We
just wanted to play.
originally recorded this for that tape that Danny put out. Okay, and Danny, when he proposed this idea for the tape, was like, "Yo, the whole thing is gonna be like just really shitty demos, like just garbage demos for everybody." And I was like, "Yo, Danny's doing a tape. It's like garbage demos, just like real shitty. Let's record this thing." And we got fucking Alan Vito to record it in my old basement on a fucking 16 track that he had no idea how to operate.
Yo, the dude had 16 tracks to figure it out. And the one iPhone is like leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
Like,
But so the best part is if you listen to that tape, everybody else's song is like top-notch quality recording quality, and then our song sounds like it came out of a fucking like an iPhone that got thrown down a staircase.
It
Like-
sounds like that song on that tape sounds like you're at a Wawa and someone just has a song playing off their iPhone, and you're all hungover and you're all bent out of shape. You're all like, yo, who the fuck is playing some fast ass song right now? I'm not into it. Like, I am just trying to sit in silence right now and order my hoagie and get my hoagie, my man. You're fucking up my shit. But no, that's how bad it sounds. It sounds like intrusively bad. But on the record, I think it's dope.
I also think it's dope. I was very excited to have an actual recording of this song.
Yo, I love that song. I love the riffs. I love how fast it is. Like,
I feel like Nate and I shared a love for heavy and fast music.
hell yeah, my man. Fist bump.
A lot of fight amp that we were listening to during the recording.
Yeah.
JR, come on. Don't leave me
A
hanging.
lot of what you were listening to?
Oh, yeah.
There was this Philly band called Fight. They were called Fight Amputation, but they shortened it to Fight Amp. They were just real noisy,
They're like,
hardcore
yeah.
band, kind of.
They're more than that. Y'all
Yeah.
never.
Well, I like
Sounds
But Nate
so
loved.
hardcore. I've never listened to that.
But Nate loved Fight Amp. That's
Yeah.
Got a rainbow over me. Anyway,
Decent, man.
no, that's all I gotta say about that song. It was fast, hard, super notey, and weird. And John just wrote some like sick, screamy lyrics for it.
Sounded like if 1994 had 4 people.
Yeah,
Is a compliment.
I mean, I insulted Chris Deem in his own house.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he has to say about it.
I also really like John's lyrics because they made me laugh. They're very over the top.
Okay.
It's about like
Oh,
the end of the universe, and it's
it is about the end of the universe. We definitely, that was the other thing about that comp. We didn't really have a lot of time.
Mm.
So we had this like song, we were like, all right, we'll do that one. And then I just had to be like, it took me months to write the lyrics for the other songs. And this one was just like, well, gotta finish it.
where did the song name come from? Because I don't remember.
Home Movies,
Movies.
Oh wow.
the cartoon.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Adult
do the.
Swim.
We're not gonna tell you what episode. Just Home Movies came from Home Movies.
Watch the whole thing. It's
It's good.
great.
No one's gonna do their Coach McGurk impression, right?
Mm-mm.
All right, cool.
What?
All right, next song. So I shotgunned a beer and went to bed. I think even more than Why Am I Not Going Underwater, I think this is like the big snowing song.
It's our most played song on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe I called it the power ballad.
Oh yeah, cool.
I think
Also, fucking
this is
cool.
also the one with the quotables. Yeah.
Okay, what'd you say?
This is also the one with the quotables with the minor case, major depression. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. Good job.
Yeah, that's the big lyric I always see quoted. Besides like all the Melissa lyrics.
I think JR's drum part is like one of the best parts of that. It's like this like quasi hip hop beat almost. It was like way
JR.
not what we were doing at the time. It was cool.
Yeah, play us your drum part on the guitar, please.
I originally wrote that drum part for a band I was doing with Alan Vito and Joe Reinhardt and Danny Scruzzi.
Really? I did not know that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good.
Your place any day of the week.
That was that one we did that one for the tour tape too.
We did. My favorite recording of ours. If y'all can find that recordings of that tour tape online
It is on
It's on
Spotify.
YouTube.
on Spotify, yeah, that's my.
Mhm.
As far as the range of fidelity, that is my jam, and I think the tour tape sounds better than the full length. That's just.
I
love it.
love the way we utilized the hall of the model home for that recording.
Yeah, and you know who helped produce on my guitar ship? Mike Kuhn.
Yeah.
Mike Kuhn was there the day I was doing guitars,
No
and he was
way.
walking me up and down the hallway with Kevin Keenan, play some mics and shit. Like, yo, it sounds best here.
Whoa.
That shit was baller. That shit was sick.
I think that song, just between you and me, Nate, that's like probably our best guitar interplay.
Yeah.
It's not like, I feel like a lot of our songs were like, I have a riff, you have a riff.
It was very
Let's
competitive.
play them at the same time.
We never really linked up where it was like. You and I think our guitar and play stuff is best because we were very competitive with each other.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And we
like,
were always trying to outplay each other and out-melody each other. But that one, I think, was just like,
we worked together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
On
it was
that one more
nice.
than any other song.
As a neutral third party in this guitar player duel, I always thought that Ross wrote better parts to your songs
Hmm.
than you wrote to Ross songs.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think we were. Either way.
but
It was hard, though.
But
because,
that song specifically is very, very good.
we wrote backwards. Like, we basically bring leads.
Yeah,
And
dude.
it was kind of like, Nate would bring a lead and it would be like, I kind of have to write a rhythm part to this, which is not how you write songs.
Which is also
Well,
I mean-
not all the time.
Yeah.
wait, but also your rhythm part would be a lead.
I think that's what
That was
I think what John said is true.
Yeah.
We would both bring songs that were leads under rhythm parts, so we were trying to play at the same time.
Yeah.
And then we would both try and write parts that were accompanying both rhythm and leads to that. And I think that would happen more than someone would show up with a lead that someone would have to play with. Is that we would both have a song written, not really express that, and the other person would write a song on top of it.
Yeah. Not that we're on this level. I keep bringing this band up, but like you and I both love Fugazi. That might be
Sure.
where it consciously comes from.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't know how to talk about it. I was fucking 18.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I was fucking 18. I didn't know how to talk about shit.
None of us did.
None of us did.
We're all fucking children.
Yeah.
Did this song get like a reaction at the time? Like, was this like a live favorite at the time?
Actually, no, we rarely played it because it was slow. It was long.
It was hard to play well.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
hard to nail. If it was a song you fucked up, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
We didn't understand. Like, I feel like we in the past 3 or 4 years we finally understand how to not play at full volume.
Oh, sure, dynamic.
Yeah.
Like any type of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't play slow, we couldn't play quiet.
Yeah. It was either fast and loud, like we were insane people trying to get out of there, or.
Well, like on that, John brought this up. There's that live set on the subreddit. John's like, we just sound like a fucking hardcore band. Like,
We do. Our best moments during that set, we sound like a hardcore band. I'm barking the lyrics, and we are loud as shit. And then we try and play a couple, like, we try and play Big Weed, which I have to sing. It sounds horrible.
Mhm.
We try and play the one song from, like, the batch of songs at the end of the band.
he had a new song.
Oh, Big
Um,
Spine?
Big Spine. We
Yeah.
play Big
Yo.
Spine. And it sounds bad.
I'll get back together to record Big Spine. I love that song.
Yeah, into it. I love that song.
Wow, thanks, guys. I love that. Yeah, we sounded best as just like a hard, fast ripper band at the time. I mean, this was also like 3 weeks into a tour in which every night we were drinking, and also I was screaming. So voices in general weren't the best.
What is each of yours' favorite hardcore band?
Well, I'm gonna get called out as a poser because they're not even a hardcore
Oh, you
band
first
anymore.
then.
Ceremony.
It used to be.
Man, what are you talking about?
I love Ceremony.
Their hardcore record rule.
There was also there was this hardcore band from the Lehigh Valley called the Gate Crashers that I really love.
I remember that shit.
Dudes who are in Piss Jeans now were in that band.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hardcore records and bands. So that's my 2. I think.
Oh, we get 2. Well, I'll just do 1. I'll follow the rules. I'm gonna say that my favorite hardcore record is "Heavier Than Heaven."
That's
yeah.
a good.
by Blacklisted.
I was just gonna say you listen to a
That one,
shitload of Blacklisted.
I-
Third favorite blacklisted record.
That record rules.
Yeah.
That record still catch me giving my mean face to people much bigger than me walking down the street. Listen to that record.
Hell yeah.
Fucking, that's my shit.
I don't think I have an answer right now.
Probably Wilco.
Yeah, Wilco is my favorite.
The latest Super Unison record is John's favorite.
Yeah, that's it. The latest super. What are they called? Unison? Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm sorry, Juice.
Fine.
No, JR, what's your favorite? I want to know.
I'm bad at favorites. The Gate Crashers one's a good one. Ultimate
Wait.
Warriors too.
JR. You and I shared another favorite. Hungry for Nothing by Fight
Yeah.
Amp.
I mean, yeah.
Hungry for Nothing by Fight Amp is also up there.
I'm literally pulling up my Spotify to see what the last heavy music was.
I thought we turned off our phones for this.
Oh my
I'm trying
god.
to remember. You like Modern Life is War, didn't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
isn't
that sounds great.
just, no one's going to call anyone out for anything.
Fuck you, Nate. Yeah, I am.
So what's the song after?
Yeah. What
All right.
Getting in the side B.
we didn't really talk about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Let's. Any special memories with this song?
I can give you. I can give you an anecdote.
All right.
Anecdote.
Thank you. I came up with the intro lyric at the dentist.
Well, I'll tell you where the title of the song came from. When I was a freshman in college, I was talking to a buddy of mine. Well, I was hanging out with a buddy of mine at a party, and I had like done that thing where you go to a party and you don't really know anybody, and then you walk away from him for a little bit, like I'm gonna meet people, and then I just like eventually failed at that and wandered back to him. And him saying, "So I shotgunned a beer and went back to bed," was the first thing I walked in on that conversation. And so that's where the title of the song came from.
Kyle, are you happy? I'm like done talking about hardcore now.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, cool. So resigned. All right. Next song, "It's Just a Party," which is the I think this is the other pop punk song.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I thought it was a different one. The other pop punk song.
No, this
We'll get to that. Let's start with the end.
what to say.
I loved playing this one.
I will also say, I'll say two things about this song. A, I think it's the, like, technically the best at guitar I've ever tracked a song. I don't know that I've ever been more technically proficient at
That's
getting
it.
a song down.
That shit is completely insane.
And I'm super proud of that guitar part, and I love it very much. And second of all, that the song title refers to my best friend Sam Rudich coming back from Fest for the first time. And I asked him how it was, and he, with a very big air of resignation, said, "It's just a party."
I like how you were the one who like did not want to discuss the song titles, and you've explained those song titles.
Yeah, but this one isn't about Mark Z. Whoever. Like, I don't know.
We really weren't going to talk about
Was
Marcy
that-
Lucy.
Was this a me song or you song, mate?
This is a me song. Actually, I don't know.
It's the mise en
This
scène.
might have been one of the weird ones where like you had two parts and I had two parts, and we
Yeah.
Frankensteined it.
Did we record? What was? I always associate this song with Scherbotsky. Like we maybe wrote it together.
Yeah, we wrote them at the same time. I think I like Scherbotsky better.
Yeah, hey guys, can we talk about why Scherbotsky's not on the record?
No, we can't. No, we cannot.
I dated two people named Melissa, and this is the only one about the good one. And it's just lyrically, it's just a really nice song about a person that I still to this day love very much.
Yeah, she's great.
She plays drums in the band that Ross and I are in.
Aw, sick.
She's my best friend. I love her so much. I don't know what I would do without her. And suddenly I'm teary-eyed.
She was too when she does that.
If it means anything, this is my favorite song on the record.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
shit, no way.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was a cool one.
That's rad.
Oh, it's got that. I love the outro. When I wrote the outro,
Again,
I like
Snowy, good at outro.
I love the outro. When I wrote that outro, I was really into Teenage Cool Kids.
Hell yeah.
Oh, good band.
I was really into Teenage Cool Kids, Foreign Lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way I
killer,
was
right?
playing it, it was super clean. It wasn't really heavy. It was more straightforward. Instead of being like a more breakdown beat, it was just going to be like. But you know that obviously wasn't going to work, and it's for the better. It was that was a good one. I love that song.
It's a great one.
Hey, Teenage Cool Kids was a great band.
Still.
Yeah.
Still in
Yeah, still is.
his best band.
Parquet Courts.
No, I don't know.
Ferguson Geronimo.
They're all great bands. I don't know.
I don't like Ferguson Geronimo. I like
Really?
Parquet Courts.
Parquet Courts.
Good shit.
You got enough?
Hell yeah. This next one is the only one that I actually didn't have any notes on. Memo, yeah, that's fine, man.
I feel like this song gets zero. Like this was such an afterthought, right?
Is Memo? Yeah, that's fine, man. The all right, that's on. Like from Dayquil to Good
Yep.
Night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fucking love this song too,
You
and like
Show.
All right.
Not a once.
Also, I'm just gonna repeat what I said. Guitar part I'm most proud of.
My favorite song too.
Guitar part I'm most proud of. Our interplay on that song.
Under that lit from Dick Cold
Yeah.
Goodnight. Under that part.
Yeah.
I wrote off an Iron Sheet
That was
part
great.
for that.
Also, this is the anecdote I wanted to say from
Oh.
earlier.
Go ahead.
John was having he told me he was having a lot of trouble writing vocals or a melody for this song. And for some reason, he asked me for advice. And I was like, why don't you just play guitar to it and like come up with a melody over it and then sing whatever you're playing on guitar? Whether or not he did that, I don't know. But it kind of sounds like he did. It kind of sounds like you're just playing like a descending octave like melody over it.
Yeah.
But you're just singing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking love that song. It's short and sweet. That like weird key, not key change, but that weird goat note in the middle of it when it goes to a C.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That part rules.
that was cool.
That song, I feel like that was when we were writing it musically was like a sudden front runner as my favorite song.
I think it was the last one we wrote before we
And that's
recorded.
the problem.
Yeah.
It was the last one we wrote before we recorded. and we really just didn't give it enough time. Like
We gave it the perfect.
no, but if you look at Underwater,
Mm-hmm.
we wrote it so long before, and then it took me literally probably like 8 months to write good vocals to it.
Yeah, but man, I know 2 people with tattoos corresponding to the lyrics of that song.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, so
Wait, this song?
2 people, they have friend tattoos. One guy has from Dayquil, and the other guy has to Goodnight, and it's a bottle of NyQuil.
Jesus
It's
Christ!
from Dayquil, it's a bottle of Dayquil, and the other one's from Goodnight, and it's a bottle of NyQuil.
That's cool.
And maybe there's like some other lyrics, like I don't know, but people have showed me that shit before. Like it's out there. So
that's really
even if
cool.
you think you didn't have enough time with that shit, I mean, it fucking landed, dude.
I remember recording or like kind of writing some of the drum parts as I was recording this song, and I think it came out quite well.
JR, I think the only like argument I ever had
You
with
with the
you,
guitar is the worst thing I've ever seen.
the only like standoff I ever had with you about a part in this entire band was writing this song.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
so in that part Nate and I were talking about, the Dayquil to Goodnight part, you were playing something like real wild, and like Nate and I were kind of shredding, and I was like, JR, you need to play like boom, boom, like the punk beat here.
Mhm.
The DB punk beat?
Yeah, like a little, yeah. I remember like you were playing that, and I was like, let's play your way, let's play my way. And when we played
John's pants are so good.
Wait, did I take your advice?
you did.
Okay.
You play a very straight part in that bridge.
Mm.
Yeah. I love this song.
I
like how
also really like the ending.
fast it is.
The end, my favorite band is Superchunk, and I think the end sounds like it's like such a fucking Superchunk.
I 100% hear that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That song is the only song on the record that everyone unanimously voted to cut something out of. I had a solo at the beginning of the song, and everyone was like, "We're not having this." Even Joe, who is normally like very like, "It's up to y'all." He was like, "Yeah, it's better without it." I think I found out because I went in to listen to it one day and it wasn't on there. And instead of bringing that up, I was just like, "I understand."
Well, I think it's good because it's so tight. There's no fluff in that song. I think it was hard for John to sing.
Oh yeah,
and-
you couldn't sing it and play it at the same time.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
This one actually, real quick, the only thing I want to say about it is it's the only song that I had to write moments before singing the final version. This is the only one I could say like, oh, I wrote the lyrics in the studio. Yep, this is the only one, but I did. Also, the second verse reflects like a time in Lehigh Valley when I thought things were going to sort of get better as a person that was like kind of stuck in a situation I didn't like. I was like starting to feel better about the place where I lived. So I was really excited in a weird way. And I was writing about that. And I won't say whether or not any of that came true. None of it came true. Things stayed pretty bad. But like I remember being like really optimistic when I was writing these lyrics. The people in the song are like very specific people about a very specific place.
A lot of it didn't turn out all right.
A lot of it did not turn out okay.
I'd say very bad, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Damn, that's weird.
And I think that's also part of the reason we never played it.
Well, no.
I mean, I don't think so. I'll totally play that part. Just change the guy's name.
Yeah, no, it's more just like we couldn't play it.
It's like
Physically.
technically. Yeah.
Like, we literally could
Not
not play it.
emotionally.
Like, as a band.
Next song is KJ Jammin'.
The best song.
Real quick, I actually just wanted to share a personal anecdote. This song meant a lot to me, like my freshman year of college, because I didn't start drinking until I was in college, and it was cool that someone else had lyrics about drinking later in life. So, yeah. I really like the song. I think the groove is fucking awesome and chilled out and smooth.
It's another song that doesn't sound like an emo song. We always call it surf rock
Yeah,
internally.
That was the
That was the name of the
working
song.
title.
that was working. Is it called KJ Jammin' because you had a dream?
I had a dream. I had a dream that I was on our MySpace profile, and
Oh.
we were We were a huge fan when our most played song was called KJ Jammin'. So I was like, we should name the song KJ Jammin'. Because obviously we'll get some sort of Oedipal returns.
It's a bummer that this isn't the most played song on something.
Yeah, I feel like a horse's ass.
I agree.
I think our guitar interplay is good on that one too.
Yeah. The only thing I wish we had on the record, and we had the foresight to do on the record, is we should have did a rhythm guitar track under the chorus. Someone.
Yeah.
We should have did like a rhythm track there. So it would have been like.
Well, again,
chunkier
I was
and big.
playing. Again, the guitar part I wrote was me playing the rhythm and the lead at the same time, and I thought if I doubled that, that would make up for that. This is clearly not.
My part doubled your part too.
Well, so
That
here
is
we are.
also a thing.
Here we are.
Here we are.
So no one was playing chords, and I at the time.
Well, that's ridiculous.
What's a
to
chord?
say. What's a chord?
I think the only chords I played in that band were like the octave chords.
What is a man? a miserable secrets.
This song always makes me think of, and I'm trying to think if the timing is right. Remember that band Surfer Blood?
Oh yeah.
That first record came out around then. And I remember being really into that first Surfer Blood record.
Well, I was already really deep into garage rock.
Yeah, and garage rock.
So I was
in
like,
general.
anytime you could do like the Ronettes beat, like the boom 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 ba boom 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 ba, I was like, yep, that's me.
Oh, Sir Rock Darren, yo, you got the thing.
You
eh?
still have
JR, why do you have all this shit? Yeah, I'm glad
Dude, I've got the archives.
Is that taped to the back of the guitar? Where'd you get that from?
Oh, this is what it sounds like, though.
Oh, bummer.
Well, you can't hear it. You have AirPods in, my man.
My man.
My man.
Anyway, another thing I fucking loved about playing this song is I think it's the only song on the record with like a full dropout, where it's just one instrument.
It's you.
And it is me, and I love me. But also, like I that's just like that comes at such a great time on the B side too.
Chris just got Wawa delivered, which is pretty great.
If I could interrupt for just 1 second and say
Wait, no, come here,
Come here, Chris. Can Chris say hi?
You want to say something about Snowing? You got anything to say?
wonderful band. Never heard of them. If I could just say something about the person that delivered my wow.
Yeah, please.
Face tattoos. They were wearing a matching sweatsuit with a matching hat, also made out of sweatpants material, and they were drinking the chocolate milk.
I told you my dad was working for Wawa, and you said you wouldn't say anything, and here we are.
And you guys don't live in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was like a
What the
great.
fuck is
That
wrong
was a
with
great
you?
advertisement for South Philadelphia.
Yeah, it really was something. He was like,
Kyle, can we please name this episode dedicated to the person who delivered Chris's Wawa?
Absolutely.
That's fine.
Anyway, no, KJ Jammin. Great guitars, great friends.
Ooh, can I point out something I love about that song? We got my good friend Dave Sampson to do backup vocals.
Ooh.
All of the good harmonies you hear,
That's
actually,
true.
we haven't had a chance to talk about this at all.
No.
Any of the harmonies you hear on this record, come by.
This wonderful sentiment ruined by a meme.
Wow. Wow. Pick your nose in shame.
Start over.
So the backups on this song are done by a good friend of mine, Dave Sampson, who's in this wonderful band, High Tide Hotel. And
You were too.
I was, but in a lesser capacity. But when we were looking for, John specifically was looking for someone to do backups, like, for all the vocals on, everything on the record. Dave Sampson came up. Dude's just got a great voice. He's got a great range, sat in there great. And I know for a fact that man drove around listening to, like, fucking scratch demos of, like, vocals and guitars, getting his shit right. So, like, I don't know. Unsung hero of the record, I think.
Definitely is. I definitely remember. At the time, I really didn't know anything. Like, I was really bad at. I came up with my lyrics and my vocals, but the idea of trying to figure out like what a melody or what a harmony should be was kind of impossible. And we weren't really. the people that like I feel like all of us worked with before, no one did shit like we didn't work with people that were like, oh cool, that was a good take, double that. Like we didn't do any of that. Like everyone was just like, that's your vocal, great, keep going. And so we brought Dave in to do like really just like 4 songs.
Yeah.
And like 4 vocal parts, and he nailed them immediately.
Yeah.
And
it was a short day.
And he also sang his own harmonies. We were just like, okay, we want you. We like a harmony here, and he just did it. And it was perfect every time.
It's especially good on that song. Every time I hear
Yeah,
this song,
that
I get
someone,
that part.
when it cuts into the "Someone Sober Drive My Car" part.
Yeah,
that's great.
The thing about this song is that I really, especially in this record, with how the things were going, where the songs were going, and where lyrically the songs were going, I really wanted to document this first thing, because obviously drinking seems to be a big part of this Snowing legacy. So I needed to I did really want to document the first occurrence. So the whole first verse is so true. The first time I had a beer, I went to my buddy's house, and they were all sitting around having drinks, and I was just sitting there. I think we were watching Family Guy again. It's probably 2008, and they were all just I had just gotten dumped. I had to move home from my college apartment to my mom's house. I was really just everything was bad, and I had a nervous breakdown. I almost had to drop out of school. It was really bad. My mental health has always been bad. That's one of the worst times it ever was. Unfortunately, instead of getting any sort of help, what I actually did was I started drinking. But the whole story is very true. I remember I was at Jay's house. Bill and Jay were both there. That's all true. It's all a thing. And I remember walking to the bathroom after having 2 Miller Lights and feeling the stumble in my step and being oh fuck, this is beer. This is what alcohol feels like. This is a real thing. I had never known. I didn't know. And then also my next door neighbor had 2 very tiny, yippy, annoying, shitty dogs. So, someone sober, drive my car, drop me off in my front yard, honk the horn 3 times to wake up Tim and Kim Burke's dogs. They had 2 dogs, Emmett and Dallas.
Her name wasn't Kimber?
Kim and Tim. That was the couple that lived next to us. But yeah, they had specifically iffy dogs, and there were 2 dachshunds. One was actually blind and deaf. The other one, or no, she was just blind. I'm sorry, she was just blind.
She didn't know English.
But the other one, every time the other one barked, this one would bark. So it was a real shit show. Anyway, that's the story of that song from the lyric perspective.
All right.
Let's
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. That was another really, really awesome, insightful one. So we got to move on now to Damp Feathers, the catchiest song on the record, I think, or the most accessible one, at least.
I'm gonna shout out Nate to start because I never wrote a guitar part for this song, and I sat down to record it. I had basically an anxiety attack because I was under a lot of pressure to write one in the studio, and I just texted Nate "Hey buddy, can you just write a guitar part for me so I don't play on this song?" And I learned to play it at the reunion shows.
That's true.
Nate plays an organ on this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 1 chord?
Yeah, one chord through a what are those? Leslie.
Yeah.
It was one of those stand-up air organs through a Leslie speaker. That was a great addition. Yeah, this is one of those I don't know. I love playing guitar in this band. I love writing guitar stuff for this band, and this song was my big shiny moment where I
This was your opus.
Yeah, kind of yeah. This is the one I'm most proud of.
It's wild we wrote that song compared to the rest of the record.
And it was to kind of like put it in a different light though. So the way when we say like it was one person's song, it was another person's song, that is to say like they are the parts. Like I wrote the parts, but when I came to the band with it, like John and Dar and Ross and I really like fleshed it all out to be a song, to be like something that had a structure. But this one in particular, in terms of like my technical playing and like the melody of it, I don't know, the one I was most happy with on the record.
I think part of the reason I couldn't write a guitar part because when I listened to it in the studio, I was just like, I don't think I could improve this. I don't think it needs another part.
Ross.
And yeah, it was good. Nate, you're great at guitar. Nate, you're better at guitar.
That's why you're playing bass.
That's why I play bass now. I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a bartender.
That's why Nate's a bartender and Ross plays bass.
I fiddled with parts there with Joe, and I was like, dude, I can't. Like, if he can add to it, awesome. But I don't want to.
Oh, there's also another great Dave Sampson vocal appearance.
I'm gonna get to that.
You were gonna get to that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you get to that. But this song also has a couple great. One thing I loved about recording guitar with Joe Reinhardt on this record was he let me keep clubs in. Like he let me keep like.
Oh, there's a great
notes.
bad note I love.
Yeah, there's like he let me keep goat notes. He let me keep just there are things that I know I fucked up that I felt confident work on it. I felt confident they worked towards the song, and there are a bunch of things that like he also encouraged me were cosmetically enhancing for the overall vibe of the song, and this was a big one for that.
Anyway,
any stories about lyrics for this song?
Nope.
Really?
My favorite lyric of yours is in the song.
No way.
Yeah, my heart's like a ball of twine. It takes a little time to unwind. I love that line.
You know what? You told me that when like right after the record was done, and all I could think was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I mean,
I love that line.
It's a nice line. It's the most emo line.
It's very
Oh,
evocative, and I love it.
I will say, I was gonna say the Dave Sampson thing, maybe different from what you were gonna say.
What do you mean?
When the song hits after the second chorus, when it starts the "Come Closer" part, which is like a part I came up with and like I was like really excited about. My voice was so shot from singing all the other songs. This is one of the last songs that we recorded vocally. My voice was so shot I couldn't carry the note. That's not me singing. That's Dave Sampson.
Yeah.
That's Dave from High Hotel singing "Come Closer, Closer." I don't sing on that part until
you can be.
Yeah, he can't be the one you want all the time. It's not me. I couldn't do it. Partly because I mean, like, you listen to the rest of Snowing and it's some asshole screaming, and I had to do all that, and then suddenly we had this song where it's like I'm just supposed to sing, and I couldn't. My voice was so literally so shot that I couldn't do it.
I said to you the other day, I can't believe how that you can still sing. Like, because I've been listening to the record a little bit, remind myself, and I just don't know how you didn't destroy your voice. Like, I'm not joking. It was fucked up what you did to yourself. You sang way out of your range. Like,
yeah.
Listen to anything else John does. He's not in the ballpark of where he was, and it's a product of the keys we wrote songs in because of the tunings. Like, it's a weird spot for John to sing. Somehow he's okay.
I also had weird when Snowing started, my big inspiration. When Snowing started, my big inspiration vocally was the band Kickball, which it's like I could never hit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've been listening to them a lot lately because out of research.
The notes that the singer of that band could hit were things that I could at no point in my life, like even as a baby. Like I'm pretty sure when I cried, it didn't go that high. There was a Kickball song, the titular line, that everything is blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like before that line hits, he does that big like.
The long held note.
I'll have to go back and listen to Kickball. The best.
They're on Bandcamp. Man.
Oh,
fuck.
I forgot
Kickball rules.
one other guitar thing about this song. So when we were writing this song as a band, putting all those parts together, John was the one who came up with the idea, insisted upon that bridge part where it's just the guitar and the vocals, the "Come Closer" part. And when writing that, I didn't have anything like at the time, and then I remembered this like weird melody I'd written for like a song I'd half written for a girl I dated in high school and played for her once. And I whipped that out, the and it's just like it's in the whole thing's in drop D anyway, so it can all be played with just like the pointer, ring, and pinky finger. But I remember just like whipping that out of my pocket and it working, and that being like a very satisfying moment of like having written guitar parts that don't get used in anything immediately, but then become useful later.
One question: have y'all seen the Snowing copy pasta?
Huh?
That is centered around this song.
What's a copy?
I
pasta?
haven't seen this.
Oh, she Rebels, who was a moderator on Reddit, like wrote it, and it got like quoted in some article about the Broken World Fest performance too. I think I'm not gonna read it out loud because it's ridiculous, but it like literally just vocalizes the guitars from Damp Feathers. That's like a big part of its appeal. Like literally writes out like "Geow," like it's great. I'll send it to y'all in Skype.
That'd be
Yeah, all right, hell yeah.
Please
Yeah.
do.
I have no idea what we're talking about or what's going on. I love it. So.
My personal favorite part of it is that he compares, or no, he doesn't compare. He's like, who was the best writer in the world? Was it Nietzsche? Was it Tommy Pinecone? Was it David Foster Wallace? No, it was John fucking Galm.
Who's Tommy Pinecone?
Thomas Pynchon.
Tommy Pinecone.
Yo, Tommy Pinecone, that's my dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Hell yeah, my man. Tommy Pinecone.
We only played this song once, ever.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be twice.
Play the song once at the final show.
At Broken World Fest, we were gonna play it, but our set was ended early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Into It Over had to play for 3.5 hours the night before. Everyone had to catch up on their wherewithal or whatever.
I was a little worried it would never got played because the smoke machine thing happened at the last show, and
Well,
the
now
cops
we're
came.
putting the cart before the horse now. We got to keep going. What's the next song?
It's
Next song is the last song. It's Could Be Better Forever.
All right.
And
a fucking inside joke.
I think this is like the perfect ending to the record, by the way.
Mhm.
John has been like raising his hand like surreptitiously this entire.
So where we talked about how like Minsk is like kind of the perfect opening.
Mm.
I remember like when we were working on this, I was like, this is the end. Like I knew, like in my head, I just knew that this was it. We did dumb titles for a lot of songs. I'm always like really down to give credit where credit's due. Like Nate came up with the title for the record. You did. Did you know that?
It was something my mom said to me. But
Oh shit! But Could Be Better Forever is like a personal thing for me. I was like, this is it. This summarizes everything perfectly. Like this song, this is the end of everything. And honestly, in my head, it makes sense that like we don't have to make any more music after this because it's like this is like the end of the snowing chapter of my life.
Even though we recorded a song after this.
Shut up.
it was a spiritual ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to wait. We had to wait. We had to wait to record the best song.
The thing was, it was definitely the perfect end to the record, and it was like a really. I mean, we were all kind of like, once we were done making this record, we were all kind of like, let's do something else.
Yeah.
Let's not be an emo band. Let's do anything else, literally. But yeah, no, could be better forever. That was just a sentiment that I thought about where I was like, that just describes my entire life. I think this song sort of sums that up. No, it doesn't. It's way fucked up. It's way more fucked up than that. Someone else talk for a little bit.
I was gonna say, in the same way that I was saying that Minsk is like this sort of. I was listening to some podcast once that broke down a 5-paragraph essay in a really funny way. You tell them what you're gonna tell them. You tell them, and then you tell them what you told them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if Minsk is, you tell them what you're gonna tell them. It could be better forever is you tell them what you told them, because we do everything that we do throughout the record, like, but I don't know, in the best possible way. Like Ross and I have the best guitar interplay. JR's got the great swing, but like he's still super powerful. He's got that swing. I make you sound like you're in the Cherry Poppin' Daddies or something.
Yeah.
Squirrel nut zippers, yeah.
It's really heavy.
That song
But,
is
And it's weird because it's not in like the drop D tune.
But that's what I'm saying. It checks all those boxes.
but it is an E. So
Yeah.
I would like to say this is the drum part to this song is another one that I warm up with all the time.
Hell yeah.
I love the drum part to this song.
Oh, you do.
Especially that.
Yeah.
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 No, one of my favorite guitar parts I wrote is the end, but it was one of those ones where I'm glad I wrote it, but I kicked myself playing it live because I was like, I can barely play this.
well, this is another one. This is another one we
where-
barely played live.
You solo over the end, and it's like very triumphant. But I remember when I was writing it, I was like, I'm gonna play this really like arpeggiated part that slides around,
Yeah.
like a Johnny Marr part, and that's like my favorite probably piece of production because it's like a super triumphant part, and you'd think I'd be playing like big chords,
No,
but
you're
I'm
just
playing like
playing
a
the
clean
plucky,
arpeggio,
right?
and you're like ripping this like
Yeah.
it's like I don't even know. It's like such a fucking triumphant ending on guitar. It's like a weird like dichotomy between the two parts. I always really liked that.
It is, and I think the guitar parts for the best Snowing songs work where you can take one of us out of them and they still really work.
Still good.
Like you could take me out of a song and it's still good. You could take you out of a song and it's still good. Like I don't know, and when they play off each other like that, I really love it.
Do you think that's because we were bad at being a band and we would practice without members all the time?
And I also think
I can't come tonight. Just fucking do it without me.
Yeah, and also like they're like, I mean, just speaking for myself, I was horrible at approaching anybody about an idea I didn't like. Yeah, there were a bunch of decisions made that at the time I was like, this is a horrible idea, and I was wrong. But then I also, in my defense, fought for a bunch of ideas that turned out being great. So, great learning experience for everyone.
What I did, bass, great. You know, we haven't talked about in Snowing is my bass playing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
true.
we've
Yeah.
never played your bass
Which-
at all.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, here's the thing. Let me just get it out of the way real quick. Go ahead, Juice.
Yeah, I would say I loved playing with John because at the time the only other person that I played with was Jake Clark on bass, and that was fucking awful. And I was like, oh, John actually knows how to play bass. This is pretty sick. I wish we had more songs where it was like rhythm.
Right. I
But
agree.
I was trying to be all showy and wild.
Right. The funny thing about the bass on this record, which we haven't talked about yet, and I will just say now, is that I went into, Justin recorded the drums, and I go in the next day or whatever, the next session, to lay down the bass, and I start playing the parts that I had written and that we had practiced and all that. And Joe just kind of looked at me and went like, "No." And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, "No, these aren't right." And then proceeded to rewrite basically all of my bass parts in the studio on the spot.
Which is very easy when you're not listening to the rest of the band.
Yeah.
That's insane to think we did it that way.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm pretty sure it doesn't enhance the record in any way. And also, like,
Your bass playing?
yeah.
Man, come on. Don't say that.
No, but like the things that he made me switch.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I can't speak to that.
right.
Damn.
Yeah.
You got me.
No, there were some songs where like straight up like Underwater's one where he was like, "No, don't do that. Do this." And I'm like, I don't know why I would ever do that. That doesn't even seem right. And he was like, "Do it. Just do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I did it, and you know, it's like you start recording, and he's like, "That wasn't the right take. Keep going." I was like,
Damn.
"I'm doing your part."
It's so weird because like he
Just
let,
Ross Robinson you.
it seems like he let you do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Well, I insisted.
Yeah, I never got edited.
It was very hard to say no to me during that recording process. I definitely knew exactly how I wanted everything of mine to sound. I just had no frame of reference to even think about anyone else in the band and how their stuff was going to sound. If you had asked me, it was the Nate show. And that's how I recorded all my stuff, and it was taken out accordingly. But yeah, your bass playing, man. I mean, you got some good tones in there.
Oh, the tones are great. It's Peter's bass,
Right. Yeah, the
which just incredible. Still,
right.
I actually after we got done recording the record, Joe told me like the series and model of bass that it is, because it's a very specific like Fender precision bass.
Is it a made in Japan one?
It's a Japanese one, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's something, but it's a certain year, and it's like,
It's a Yamaha. Right?
and I don't know,
Oh,
but
wow.
either way, I
It's a Yamaha.
was constantly going on eBay to try and find another bass like this, because I was just like, the tone was so perfect that it made everything like I played just the normal jazz bass, Mexican jazz bass, and it made it sound like so shitty. The bass tone was wildly good. Joe just made me rewrite all the parts. That's the only problem there. I have to talk about the song now, right? So it's going.
You don't necessarily have to if you don't want to.
Well, I should. So I will say, this is another like important one for me. It sucks that we like never played it, because it's like, I feel like it's really hard to play the really like, every band I've been in, it's really hard to play the really like difficult ones, the ones that are like different than the other ones, the ones that shut up.
It's hard to play the difficult one.
Ha 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 ha. It's one of the ones that kind of stray away from the normal situation. So like we never played Damp Feathers because it was so quiet. We rarely played Shotgun a Beer because it was like slow and long. I feel like we rarely played this one because it was hard to get all the elements right. One of the big elements for me though was the fact that it was just like so wildly. This is another one where it's like Minsk, it's like Sam Rudich, where it's just so wildly personal that playing it's like, like when I was writing the vocals, it's very, I'm yelling the entire time on purpose. It's not like because that was where the register fit. It's because the song was like super personal and super important to me. We would go to snowing practice Ross and I would drive from the Lehigh Valley to Philly every practice, like once a week for 2 years. And there was a billboard on the turnpike that said like, "Your sin will find you out," all capital letters,
Think about this.
like exclamation point at the end. And I grew up super Catholic and like church every Sunday. And my dad was super Catholic, church every Sunday. Like we would have to go, he would make us go to church on what are called holy days of obligation in the Catholic Church, before school, when those would come up, like during the year. So like weird days, like All Saints Day, like it's just like a random Tuesday in like probably like February or something. And my dad would wake us up at like 5 a.m. and be like, "We got to go to church." And we would all go to church. It was fucked up. This idea of like Catholic guilt is talked about a lot, but it was very real in my life. And I feel like my adult life really doesn't start until after my dad died when I was 17. Everything changes. And this song sort of, in a weird way, reflects that. Because, like, my dad dies, and then I'm as a human being, I'm very lost. I tried really hard with like, I used certain songs as like a way to like write my life, to try and make myself feel a way that I didn't actually feel, but I wanted to feel. So like the chorus of this one, it's like, my dad died, like his dad died, and I know someday that I'll die, which in my head was like coming quick. Like I thought I was going to die at any point, and I was trying to like be triumphant about it, but I'm alive. I was just trying to be okay. I was trying so goddamn hard to be okay. This is one of those songs. This one and Shotgun a Beer, just me trying to be okay. It was, you know, for better or worse. I think actually, like I put like a lot of myself into it, and it.
Are you talking to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we know.
Oh, I didn't know. I keep a lot of my friendships at arm's length. I don't really know.
John, we went through that whole thing.
Yeah.
John, there were times where I wanted to murder every single one of you. So incredibly much. Like, we went through, like, I can personally say, I think thick and thin together. Like, you know, we went through some super, like, real shit.
Right.
Like, man, I love you. Of course I knew all that.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't want you to think that I've ever taken any of this for granted. Like, of course, I've always.
Well, I mean, I've loved you for years. I just didn't know if you knew that, like, I used this because this really helped me get through some shit, or like this really helped me like try to start working through some shit. This was like really important to me.
Of course,
I didn't
like.
I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately, revisiting the record, about how hard it is to put yourself out there like that in a way that is, I don't know, public record. Like, it really was underlined like in the past few days because I've been kind of like, you know, rewinding the clock on social media. I like looked through my Tumblr from around, you know, that time, and my Facebook.
Yeah.
And just thinking about all the shit that I was saying and how, if I wanted to, anytime I could go in there and delete all that shit, but you can't. Like, it's out there. And that takes a lot of bravery, I think. And it's something I never did because I couldn't do it. I appreciate you doing it.
Well, you didn't have the voice.
I did. I never.
Damn.
Anyway.
No. There was.
I mean, dude, yeah,
we'll hug a bunch when this is done.
Yeah.
There was a thing when I went back to school for teaching. They did a long day. I had like a long class about how they were like, if you do anything in public now, parents will find it and use it against you. And I like pulled my pulled my professor aside. I was like, I have an entire band where I talk about how I drink too much and how I'm like terrified of dying and how my dad died and it really upset me, and how is this gonna work? And she's like, you'll just have to tell them that it's all like an act.
I was kidding.
They weren't like, you'll just have to tell them that, you know, they knew Algernon was better.
I had to use my feelings because we weren't as good as Algernon.
I mean, dude, yeah, like,
isn't that the?
Yeah, you always. I think the reason we fucking like, at least for the four of us, put up with all that shit for so long was because we knew none of us were bullshitting.
Yeah.
And you know, same goes for you, new man. Right? That was always like John's fucking bringing it all. He's always like,
yeah,
he is like the face of the band, and he's the one like giving everyone who gives a shit about it something to sing about. So
I will say this: I think Snowing on its best night live, fucking better than like any fucking band.
High highs.
We were so good.
who are the high
Sometimes.
We were sick.
We were so good
I'll sing my
together.
praises. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Connecticut in a couple months. I give a shit.
We would play a show, and I just remember it was just like a fucking bulldozer.
Yeah, man.
We were just so good, so loud, and so tight.
There was, if you can find it, there's a Hex Minsk records review for something, but one of the lines in it says, "I feel like you could see this band in the basement and throw beer cans at them and they'd be chill with it."
It happened.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's like for sure
Yeah.
our vibe. Like that's I don't know, that's what I always wanted."
Nate mentioned earlier having a chip on our shoulder. I think we always wanted to just like play. That'd be the best band. Not because like we all had some weird like competition thing. It was just like, let's just be fucking great. Like
And also,
just be
fuck,
real.
it's so messy.
Messy. But we're also, my favorite thing about us was like we were just like real as fuck.
That's what I mean by messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean by messy, I mean like fucking.
What the public face of us was us.
Like,
Like
fucking.
yeah.
I'm not talking sloppy. I'm not talking like clumsy. I'm talking like messy like that.
I remember Joe telling Chris, who's gone, so maybe I'm relaying a fake story, but we did this 6-week tour together. That was 1994 and Algernon and Snowing, and Joe would apparently watch us every night, like from the side of the stage, which like it's fucking 6 weeks. Like I don't think I watched Algernon more than 7 times. I watched 1994 most nights because they were just like a beat.
the best band.
Yeah, but like if anything, Algernon was too good and it like hurt. So I didn't want to watch them every night. But like, Joe apparently watched every night, and Chris asked him the one night like, "Why do you do this?" And he's like, "Because it's snowing, and they're the best."
Oh man,
And it's just like,
that's so nice.
All right. That was real fucking heartwarming. All of that.
Yeah.
I really like that. I'm gonna throw it to Kyle
and after
real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it to Kyle real quick for some wrap up stuff. I have one last question at the very end, but for now I'm gonna hand the reins over to Kyle.
where's Bean? Yeah, I don't know either.
Somewhere.
So I feel like this album, like when it came out, it was definitely around, but I feel like there was a point, like maybe 2 or 3 years later, that I feel like a lot of people discovered it. Did you realize there was a point where like it seemed to be passed around to like another generation, or like just more in general, and people were connecting with it?
I do think that like we missed the wave we created for ourselves. Like we broke up right when we probably should have been doubling down, but like we were fucking burnt out.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a combination of like half of us were burnt out, half of us wanted to keep fucking bulldozering on because of that reason. And I think, I don't know. I know on my part, I wanted to keep moving on, and I was arrogant enough to think that like, well, we'll just break up and start another band, and it will work. It didn't fucking work. In hindsight, we should have taken 6 months off. We should have taken a year off. It would have been there for us when we got back. I know Nate wanted to take a break. He wasn't having it. None of us were getting along.
I wanted
It sucks.
to either take a break or just call it quits, and I think calling it quits for me was the best bet, because I was never going to come back to it with any type of 2020 hindsight vision or anything like that. I knew coming back from that summer tour that it was different. Everything was different. Dynamic was different, and I wasn't going to bring anything to the table that was helpful. I was in a place where I was being real a big jerk. So
we were all
so
being
I
jerks.
I just took my jerkiness to Guacamole instead of y'all.
I personally like yelled at people for the first time on that tour, like in my adult life.
That was your first time?
Yeah, I like never yelled at a friend until that tour.
Well, that
Really?
Like I never gotten
Okay,
blown
okay.
yelling at
Damn.
shit until
that tour was a lot,
it was stressful. It was
and
too
I
much.
don't think we should base how the band broke up on that tour. The band did break up on that tour, but
Yeah.
like it's not.
Well,
I tried to take a bus
as a
home.
result of that tour.
I tried to take a bus home from Portland, and John told me if I leave,
That's
the band's
true.
over.
Every band. Also, you.
I had it in my cart, a bus, like
Oh
in my
my
shopping
God.
cart on my laptop.
Right? You put a cart on your lap.
Every band actually. Within the year of that tour, every band that was on that tour broke up.
That's true.
94 and I
true.
was around like a bunch of dummies went directly to Europe after that tour.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of stories that they'll tell you, I'm sure, when you get the Parrot Flies episode.
Hope so.
That's probably 100% gonna be the
Yeah.
that.
I hope it wins because that's the best Eltron record.
Yeah, that is. It's a
Thank you. Everyone
Yeah.
fucking says so
This
kind,
is
and
a
we
pro
both
Parrot
agree.
Flies
When I
podcast.
found out people didn't love that one, I was Lord.
The funny thing about that one is people complained about Tank's drumming. They're like, it's not technical enough.
They
Yeah.
complained about
It's
it.
like the best part.
They complained about it.
Tank's
I don't
the
even
best.
know. I don't even know what joke to make. I can just say they complained about it in a certain voice. It sounds like they're idiots. They complained about it? Really? That's crazy. It's like when you complain about the people at Five Guys giving you too many fries.
Yeah,
You can just throw them off.
these fries are too good.
Just throw them out. What are you talking about? Just turn it off. You idiot.
Salty, delicious fries.
Anyway, can I clarify one thing?
Yeah.
It's just about the name of the record.
Hey, where's Bean?
Yeah, the name of the record is Beanie. No, the name of the record, it comes from something my mom said. Could you wait until after the podcast to eat your fucking kid?
Tell them also about the name of the band.
Oh, okay. So these are the two good stories.
Cool.
So the name of the record came from my mother and I were in an argument about where I was going in my college career, and started off very well, and I of course started slagging off, and was just how to find myself. And she said to me, incredibly frustrated one night, "God damn it, Nate, you could do whatever you wanted to if you wanted to." And I just we took that and reworked it and turned it into I could do whatever I wanted if I wanted. And that's where that came in of. And the name of the band came out of John. We were practicing in my
Can we go through the first few names, or do we even want to show this?
No, I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about Snowing.
We played a show as New Hunger.
No, what did I say?
It was a flyer.
This is why we broke up, dude. John's right. John's right, man. Should have never agreed to come down here. What a mistake.
Sorry.
We were practicing in my mom's basement. John was driving there. It was snowing out. John and Ross were talking on the phone, and I guess John said to Ross, "Let's call the band Snowy." And we were like, yeah, that's the name literally came about only because it was snowing outside. And then we were in the basement practicing, and my nana was staying with me at the time. She's a wonderful French woman. And she came downstairs to say, "Oh, Tanya, I see you practicing down here. It's so beautiful. What is the name of your band?" Nana, name of the band is called Snowing. Snowy? Like cocaine? And we were like, no, not like cocaine, but whatever. Yeah, that's fine. And then we were introducing everybody in the band, and I was like, this is John. Oh, John, nice to meet you. This is Ross. Oh, this is JR. JR, like Dallas.
I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, JR.
I forgot about
The gas
She
password.
guessed.
Yeah.
There's one element of that story that I want to add that Nate didn't. When Nate said our name was Snowing, Nana said, "Oh no."
Oh yeah. No, like cocaine.
It's funny because that's what most people said when I told them the name of our band.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, we would just hang out in the basement and do fat lines.
I mean, at that point, it was the last band name available. So
That's true.
I
It was either that or cocaine.
You should have named our band Cocaine.
Oh my god.
Where's Bean?
There must have been a screamo band called Cocaine.
Oh yeah,
There was a screamo band called Heroin.
heroin. Yeah.
There's that band Coke Bus. They're sick. Yo, who's
Yeah.
talking about hardcore?
Yeah. No, my
That 7-inch fuck bar, or it's like fuck bar culture.
Yep. That's good.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
one of our homies is like real tight with that band, Fernando from Commander Salamander. Yeah.
Honestly, one of my favorite hardcore bands was Punch, and now JR's in a band
Yeah.
with fucking Megan.
Oh, I should have said that. I love Punch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I should have said that too.
Punch and Dangers like single-handedly got me into hardcore in like 2006 for sure.
I also love, Dasso.
Oh, Dasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, some Mark McCoy shit right here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Here's Mark McCoy.
The dude.
Charles Bronson.
What? Charles Bronson.
Spaz have a song about him called Hardcore before Mark McCoy was emo seaman.
That That's borderline scream out of it.
Yeah.
I want to tell one more, my parting story. When I left,
Are you gonna leave right after
yeah, I'm
this?
gonna leave right after this. When I left my house, I saw my roommate. He's like, "Oh, where you going? Band practice?" I was like, "Oh no, actually, I'm not going to do this like emo podcast." And he's like, "Oh, you should tell them all you live with a member of Seisha."
I was just gonna say.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Wow. Fucking Seisha. He's
Yeah.
like fucking.
So he gave me permission to embarrass him. I live with Steve from Seisha.
Yeah. Well, one
He's
time
a
I
wonderful
saw.
landlord and roommate.
One time I saw him at the bar I worked at, and I called him Kevin.
Well,
He
yeah.
was not happy.
It's his brother who looks exactly like him.
Yeah. Well, they look exactly like each other. What am I supposed to do?
Does he own that home?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I live in his home.
Damn. That's crazy.
Off Minor was awesome.
When you don't take out the trash, is he like?
No.
What? Oh, so when you don't take out the trash, it's like.
Yeah.
Well, he played drums in Off Minor.
And Algernon for a couple shows.
Yeah, and Al's not for all the shows.
Oh, I heard the story of that trip. It is wild.
They can tell that one.
Yeah,
The
they can
tunnel?
tell
The
that.
tunnel
Oh my
story?
God.
They'll tell that one in the next episode.
Oh my God.
Shit.
I'll do a marionette reenactment of it.
I feel like I wanted to say something like nice and heartfelt. But you know what? The fact that I can't remember it because we're just laughing and kind of drunk probably just sums up Snowing better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. I have like one last question for everybody. What is everyone's favorite Snowing song? Just pick one.
Wonderwall. JR did not find that funny at all.
JR is under the impression that that's a Snowing song.
Yeah, I was just checking Spotify to make sure. I was like, what Snowing song is that?
JR didn't react at all, so I thought maybe like his AirPods died and he was just like nodding along to everything.
For this question, let's start with JR. JR, what was your favorite Snowing song to play? Do you have one?
I'm gonna say Minsk.
You know, to play live, I'm gonna say Sam Rudich. That's my shit. I love all the riffs.
Jeff.
I love the chords I play. I get to thrash about, look like a fool, and I think I'm pretty good at playing it. Close second, Spectre Magic.
Two songs not on the record.
Because we stopped playing that one after a while.
Yeah, because I can't play the fucking end of it.
Oh.
It's too
I
hard.
remember writing Spectre Magic with you, Nate, at the model home. I don't know why I have like.
I rewrote You and I, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's what's up. That was sick.
That ending was incredible.
I love that ending.
You did a great job.
Hell yeah.
John?
Pump Fake. Pump Fake. I just really, I feel like all the pieces fit super well in that one. Like vocally, musically, sheer lack of arms. Like it all sort of worked.
Ross?
Mine is Big Weed.
You say Big Weed?
Yeah, Big Weed. Sorry, JR.
Ross. The only song I don't play on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, JR. Well, that's legitimately my favorite thing I've ever
Hell yeah. That's what's up, dude.
I also, I love Superchunk.
That is a super.
It's a
joke.
Superchunk.
Very super.
If y'all want to go listen to Iron On by Superchunk, it's on Here's Where the Strings Come In. You will wonder how Mac McCon has not sued us. It's ripped off of that song.
I'm pretty sure he knows when not to sue people who have nothing.
I will say, as somebody who didn't participate in the writing or recording of Big Weed, it is a fantastic song. I love that song a lot.
It was fun to play. It's power chords.
I like
Nate solos.
we took a while. It took a while to come up with after the second chorus, like that bridge part, which is like I can remember writing it. It's among my favorite parts of any Snowing song ever. The part where it's like palm muted,
Mm-hmm.
and we do like the different timing and stuff.
And you'll
Yeah.
briefly reference Four Loco. Camo cans.
Oh, it's not.
That's not Four Loco?
It's Bush.
Oh, I always thought that was about Four Loco.
Oh.
Just knowing the things we drank together.
A weekly reference.
Four Loco.
No, camo cans. Bush used to sell. So when we would buy beer at Wegmans, by Chris Reject's house, Bush was the cheapest 6-pack
The Neighbors, as we called it.
at the Neighbors. Yes, Bush was the cheapest 6-pack. It was like something like $4 for a 6-pack, but when hunting season came around, they would have camo cans because we're in Pennsylvania and people hunt. So
I'm crushed. That's not about Florida.
no, it's about
Uh,
some prepaid phones, camo cans, and broken bones.
hey Kyle, what's your favorite Snowing song?
Minsk.
Mine is Methuselah Rookie Card.
Whoa!
That's in the top 3 for me too.
One, it's my favorite Simpsons reference out of the catalog. And
Enough. At the final Snowing show, we forgot to play it.
Just straight
Yeah,
up.
we
Just
forgot to
straight
play
up forgot.
It's on the set list.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It was
shit.
We were just trying to fuck out of there, man.
It was a rough night.
Yeah. Both reunion shows were the most
Just incredibly rough.
the
Yeah.
most snowing reunion shows that you could possibly have. One, we're rushed off the stage to the point where the house is turning on the lights, turning off the stage monitors, and bouncers are running on stage to turn off our amps. The second, in which a fire alarm goes off, and we have to evacuate an entire mall.
There's a
fuck.
And then we are lectured by some mummy from 1985.
Show fire.
we are dressed down by someone who was around when I don't know, Flying Nun was relevant. And I guess that makes him cool. Just completely humiliated and then expected to perform to the best of our abilities.
We did great.
We played in a mall that was actually a flea market, and it had a professional wrestling museum at the time.
Yeah.
Which it's very near and dear to mine, Joe.
Yeah, and then Virasama, the god of destruction from Dragon Ball Super, shut the whole thing down.
Hey guys,
My favorite.
you know who played our last show? It's Jeans.
Yeah, that's true. My favorite thing about I will just say, not that this is gonna make the podcast. My favorite thing about the reunions, both of them, although both shows were literal shit shows, at least we're all like friends again.
Oh, yeah, that shit was tight.
At least I
That shit was
had a
tight.
fucking great time.
Yeah.
We had a wonderful. Those practices were fun as shit. Fuck, dude! Before the first one, we played that Neil Young cover at the show
And nobody
Oh my
cared.
God.
That was awesome.
because we just kept playing it at practice.
Yeah.
Because we were just like drunk and happy and
We covered Don't Cry No Tears by Neil Young, and I
Nate
got to
sang
sing
it.
it.
Yeah.
It was fucking sick. Man.
We covered Laid by James and made Chris Reject sing it.
Oh, he was so
mad.
upset.
Yeah.
He was so upset.
You did a terrible job.
Well, there was a precedent to it, but Chris was just not ready for it.
Precedent. Like he was in the band and got kicked out for doing it.
No, I used to drive in his car. He would drive in his car and sing "Laid" so loud.
He had that mixtape that
He
had
had
it on.
the mixtape
It
that
had
had it on.
Joyride by Built to Spill on it.
Yeah.
It had
But
Laid.
but he would sing "Laid" and he would do all the drums and he would like count it and he would turn it up super loud. And Chris has a really bad habit of tailing cars like super close, and he would just be like tailing a car like less than a car length away and just screaming the lyrics of James Laid. This bed is on fire with passion and love. And it's just like we're like
Playing that long drum roll part
Yeah.
on the steering wheel.
You know, for that show, we should have put a car in front of him.
and we're right behind the car.
Probably would have remembered the fucking lyrics.
And then at the show, we didn't tell him that in the song. We pulled him on stage, and he was so upset.
He would like smile at the crowd and then turn behind us and give us this like, "What the fuck are you doing? Look, what the fuck are you doing?" Oh my god, it was great. No, but I will say for that, the practices leading up for those reunion shows. Before I said like yes to any of it, when we were talking to my dad about it, I was like, I don't know, we only have 3 months. We haven't played in like 4 years or something like that. And we were just gonna be sloppy and shitty, and I wanted it to be good. And he was like, "Well, what kind of band were you when you were a band?" And I was like, "Well, we were loud and sloppy and shitty." And he was like, "Well, they'll get their money's worth. What are you worried about?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck, yeah. Good boy, Pop."
Those shows and practices, like, I'm really glad we did them because
Yeah,
I
hell
don't
yeah.
know, we'd all grown apart a little bit, came back together.
Yeah.
It's great. I see John once or twice a week. We're in a band.
Yeah.
We watch wrestling.
I see you every week.
Mhm.
But we
JR,
That I get to see fucking Kevin DeFranco every week.
love
Joke's
you.
on me.
you have to see Kevin DeFranco every week?
I said instead of seeing you guys every week, I see Kevin DeFranco every week.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And no one talks to Bean.
Yeah, no one talks to me.
He FaceTimes me all the time.
It's a drummer thing. It's a drummer.
The second reason that Methuselah is my favorite Snowing song is that the outro is fucking gnarly and stellar, which is a convenient segue into this outro. This was like honestly like 100% like a dream of the podcast, and it like means the world that y'all came on and talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Really good stuff too.
Like we took lifts over here. It was a 5-minute trip. So
We took this over here. That's why you like that?
no. I mean, I'm just saying it's nice that it meant a lot, but it was just like so easy.
It meant a lift ride. Yo, keep talking what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Nate's missing right now. But
It was the most meaningful lift ride anyone's ever taken for us.
That's what it's kind of like to me, my dude. All right, keep talking. I'm sorry. So you're happy we were on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle, do you have any words?
This record means a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't get to see y'all, and I feel like records of this time weren't documented very well, and I'm glad that we are able to help document it a little more.
Yo, can I just say that anybody who's listening to this thing, that is wild to me and very cool. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for that, because I don't know, when we were doing it, it just felt like something we were doing. And it felt like something we were doing just to do it. I don't know, to be 10 years down the line, like, we've all moved super far past that, but it's still just, I'm happy that it's all like, I'm happy we can all like fucking get together and talk about it. That it's not a thing where, I don't know, we all have to do separate Skypes and talk shit on each other. We just love each other. This is tight.
Oh.
The first band that I'm like, it's weird, because I was in a high school band that my mom, it's her favorite band, and she refuses to like acknowledge the fact that I've been in other bands since. So that's a weird thing that happens in my life. Audio recording club. But
it's all on Spotify.
Man, I was gonna make a CCR joke.
oh. But Snowing for me is the first band where I ever actually like Snowing in my head is like the first real band I was ever in, and it's still like outside of maybe like Bad Heaven now, which is like my fucking baby. Like Snowing is the most important band I ever did, and there's so many things about my life that would be different if we didn't do this band. So
There are decisions I made while in Snowing that if I hadn't made them, I'd probably be in a much different spot in my life. And the spot that I'm at in my life, I wouldn't trade for nothing.
I'll echo those sentiments. Man, it means a lot to me that people, that this meant a lot to people.
I didn't realize it was. I'm sorry to cut you off, man. I interrupted you. What were you saying?
well, even when we weren't in the Valley, but like when we were doing the record, like we sold out a pre-sale.
Mhm.
Like the pre-sale was like over 300. It was like possibly 500 records, and we like that was a big thing. Like we sold out that pressing. We sold out a pressing of like 2,000 super quick.
That's so
Wait,
many.
when?
So many records. Like
When? What are you talking about?
Of the Foley.
Oh, for real? When we did it?
Yeah.
Yo, I was a junior in college then. I didn't know shit. Like,
Yeah, no, I was living in the Valley, so like I was working with Chris, and like I was at the house every day, and we were packing up the records. Like I remember Ross and I went to go see Punch before we put out the record,
and Vaccine.
and Vaccine,
Ooh.
sick show
Yeah.
in Brooklyn. But we
And Lama Priya.
you were talking
Sorry.
to someone in Punch about what record was that? That was their second record.
Yeah.
They were talking about how like they had like a stack of pre-orders that was like high. It was as high as they were stacked up. And I remember thinking like, wow, that's insane. And then we did the pre-order for the Snowing record. And it was the fucking same thing. Like there were so many goddamn records that it was like higher than Chris and I, and
not higher than me, baby.
not higher than
Yo, what's up?
But no, it was a crazy time. I remember thinking like, I don't know. It was like, I just remember doing it and thinking to myself, like, we're doing, like, being at Chris's house, getting the records assembled, putting out the pre-order and thinking like we're doing something important, like we're doing something real, like this is something people want, and it made me really think of like, I don't know, I think it really like colored my sort of my entire like outlook on like DIY and how I want to put out records now as an adult and like shit like that.
It also, I like to think about how like lucky we were that it caught on, and how relatively easy it was to achieve the success we did. Because now, I mean, I stopped playing music for a little while after Snowing. I was kind of, I don't know, disillusioned is probably a good word. I don't know. I thought maybe this was over. Maybe I would just get a job and try to be an adult. But now that I've started playing again in the past 3 years, being in a band's hard. And it's hard to get people to care.
Yeah.
It was a shock to me when we would play shows for 5 people in the city we lived in. Right now it's just like shit. Like, why do people do this to themselves?
And again, Ross is playing in Bad Heaven, the band that I front. No one comes to see.
But I guess I just wanted to say that makes me appreciate it even more. I'm really happy with that for a lot of people. It meant a lot to me. I tried to not take it for granted at the time. I probably did. But in retrospect,
it was 10
now,
years ago.
We were fucking children.
It was the best.
It was great.
I definitely took it for granted, I feel like, and I regret that for sure. Because to Ross's point, like the popularity of it all was something that was like super easy to take for granted, and now I'm like, damn, it's fucking hard to get anybody to give a shit about any music that anybody does. So
yeah, and you're in a band with Stone from Punch.
You're on Death Wish.
And unfortunately, Kevin DeFranco. No, but like also like your record came out on Death Wish. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, no, it's.
Can I just say where anybody voted on this? Can I just say that I just thought? Can I just say that I went in completely blind?
We
thinking
didn't.
that
We won against a band who campaigned to win.
Can I just say that I thought that someone just wanted to do it, and that learning now that people voted just makes me wonder how many. What was it on Reddit?
It was Reddit and Twitter, basically.
So my mom's got a lot of Reddit accounts. My mom's probably got a lot of Reddit accounts that are unaccounted for, and I'm gonna have to rein her in.
Yeah.
My fiance just got home. She has a Snowing shirt that I'm actually really jealous of. It's a good one.
Twin Peaks one?
No, it's the blue one that's not the fuck your emotional bullshit one.
Yes, the blue one. Yo, the blue one. JR, you did the fucked up face, pink letters.
That was
yeah, that one.
That's the best one.
I like the one of Nate's face. That's the Marilyn Manson ripoff.
yeah.
well, that was the most recent.
Yeah.
That was from the reunion.
No, anything that has to do with me is garbage. The best one is the powder blue one with the fucking face on it and the blue letters on it, or the pink letters.
I liked the Twin Peaks one, probably the best, and the other one was the Smiths Meet His Murder one.
Tom P printed the face ones, right?
Yeah, but we said the wrong size.
What about the oh God, the one my literal least favorite shirt ever.
No, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Snowing hair one.
Oh, yeah.
Where Snowing is written in different people's hair.
Oh,
I wish I could say it was on like some weird drugs or something at the time, and that's why. I don't know where the fuck that came from, man. I'm sorry.
I was just like, no. And then Jared was like, yeah. And it was already printed.
It's really good when you have someone who runs the company and will just print merch for you without telling you.
I mean, no,
it's sell shirts. I'd be like, what the fuck is that shirt?
No, it's not, because there was this one Snowing shirt where it's 3 peanut characters that look Jubilee.
That one's good.
And I am Pigpen.
Yeah.
And then so Snowing broke up, and I went to Glockamora, and Zach from Glockamora was like, guess what shirt we're gonna make? It's gonna be the same thing, but with us and your Pigpen. That followed me for so long.
That shirt bummed me out so much. The Glockamora one? Oh my God.
It bummed you out? Really? That's too bad. On the back, did it say bummed out or something? I don't know. Like, unbelievable. And then, Zach would tell me, like, I hope people don't start to, like, they wanted to go away from the emo shit too, and that's why I was like, yeah, I'm on board with this. I'll join this band. And Zach was like, I hope people don't think we're, like, snowing because you're in the band. And I was like, well, they're gonna think it now. Sure.
I'm gonna amend my favorite. It was the goat in the pentagram. It looked like a black metal shirt.
Oh, that
It
was
said
a fun
snowing,
one.
and on the back it said "fuck Philly, Hail Satan."
Also, the eyes in the pentagram were googly.
They were googly eyes
Yo,
on a
that's
goat.
right. That's right. All right.
We also
I wish I had.
Pennsylvania hunger.
we took that on a tour, and I remember on that tour, kids.
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
kids, but like,
Teenage?
yeah, the teenagers that came to see Sewing were just like, I don't think I can buy this. I don't think my parents.
That was on a Midwest tour.
Yeah, it was a Midwest tour.
Back before weed was super cool, so we had to change the name. Yo, I'm making fun of you, JR. What's up, my dude?
Actually, you're kind of making fun of me.
What? Who are we making fun of? Man, I'll make fun of any of y'all. I don't care. Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having
I'm
us.
sure this is probably going to be a fucking nightmare.
I hope
to
this
edit.
was
say-
okay.
I was just like, welcome
So-
to,
A lot of our
Joe,
episodes are 3
yeah,
hours,
yeah.
so it's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of your episodes are 3 hours?